Hey guys, so we are back again with another reading, and this one is all about the career that you guys would be best suited for. So, I've been getting a lot of messages and talking to you guys, and a lot of people who are saying that they're very unhappy with their career or they feel called to be doing something more important, and a lot of people that are thinking about moving jobs or just that they should be doing something else. So, we're going to kind of talk about that, see what Spirit has to say about those careers you guys would be best suited for in terms of your skill set, your life purpose, some of your soul missions. And I'm really excited to get into all of that because I see that just as a collective movement happening right now. So hopefully we get some great info for you guys. I'm really excited, and we do have a beautiful selection of cards and crystals for you guys to choose from today. So I will show you guys the numbers, but of course, if at any point you already feel drawn to a pile, you can definitely skip ahead. So we are starting off with pile number 1. Then we have pile number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. And I also want to mention to you guys that I do have my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. The link for that is in my bio. The last reading I posted is what if you reached out to them or contacted them? How would they react and what would they say? So it's a great love or ex reading if you guys would like to look into that. And I have my additional readings up there as well, a lot of readings. So definitely check that out. But with that being said, if you guys need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need to make up your mind. But we are going to go ahead and jump into pile 1. Hey, pile 1. So if you guys picked this citrine crystal, this is going to be your reading. So you guys got the 3 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, 8 of Swords, 3 of Cups, the Magician, the Moon, and the 6 of Swords. So I can see that, first of all, I feel like a lot of you guys, honestly, you're kind of a lot of fun. We got the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Cups, and I know this is a career reading, but something coming through right away is that you guys are probably good with people. You guys are probably honestly good in like a party situation or just talking to people. I feel like you guys are pretty emotionally expressive and good at dealing with others. And so I feel like you guys have a lot of career options, and we're going to get into a lot of them. But I almost feel like some of you guys, you might at first have a hard time kind of finding actually what your career is, because I feel like you guys in this pile are probably good at a lot of things. And so there's almost this period of like, maybe I'm actually bad at stuff because I can't really put my finger on what it is. There's no gift standing out. And I honestly feel like one of your guys's biggest advantage is how you deal with others, how you deal with people, that you guys have high emotional intelligence and that you guys are highly empathetic. But actually, a lot of people like that can tend to find issues finding their career at first, because you kind of have to be a shark. You have to be really aggressive. You have to be somewhat, I don't want to say sociopathic, but sometimes to succeed within the career realm. And sometimes I feel like you guys, you're kind and giving to others, and you might have almost been deluded because you see the best in people. You try to see their good side, and so it doesn't really occur to you that like, oh, this person smiling in my face might be stabbing me in the back. And I honestly feel like that might lead you guys to have some pain and issues in careers where you're like, how did I get fired from this job again? Or why did my coworkers, team up against me at this last job? And I feel like a lot of it is because of honestly the kindness of your heart and the fact that you guys are pretty good people. But I see you guys kind of eventually mastering this and finding a career that really aligns you with your highest purpose and this gift you have in dealing with others and seeing the best in them and finding a way to actually use that. So careers that come to mind off the top of my head that would have to do with that are something like therapy, talking to people, even something like in the nightlife, because we got the 9 of Cups, we got 3 of Cups. So I feel like you guys might be great as like a party planner or as like even a bartender or a nightclub promoter or something like that. Talking to people, socializing, any career that heavily relies on socialization, I feel like you guys would like hit out of the park. So maybe even like a college professor with the 3 of Pentacles, or something where you're dealing with people and talking to them and working them through their issues or their hardships. Like I feel like you guys are also pretty highly intuitive with so much water and the moon coming out. So honestly, some of you guys might be great psychics, tarot readers, stuff like that. Or you might be good in a career that kind of involves that, but maybe isn't straight up like psychic readings, but you're doing therapy and you're kind of using your intuition with how you deal with people, or something where you guys I feel like tap into that water energy. So it could also be creative. It could also be something like writing or painting. I feel like you guys are that creative pile. And a lot of those kinds of creatively gifted people that are also empathetic, which is very watery energy, tend to have trouble finding their career. So I can see why you guys would be watching this, because it can be hard to monetize creativity and stuff. But I feel like you guys are very highly gifted in these fields and kind of like visionaries. And so I feel like eventually you figure out your realm, but it's almost like it's hard at first because you're trying to maybe fit yourself into this square peg, kind of a thing where you're trying to get a 9 to 5, or you're trying to fit in a traditional office with people that think in very kind of black and white ways. And you're kind of this person that sees things very creatively outside the box. And so, you're like, why don't they like me? Why don't they get along with me? And you might even think like, am I dumb? Am I doing something wrong? Is there something bad about me? But it's just that, honestly, I think you guys are kind of, like I said, a visionary. You're the magician. You're meant to do things different, and also to have this beautiful creative and psychic energy that you guys have, that I think you thread into your interactions with people. Because I feel like you guys, when you deal with people, you're that person that knows when someone's having a bad day and would randomly come up to them and be like, hey, do you want my bag of chips? Like, I know I was going to eat it for lunch, but I just am feeling called. Like, do you want those chips? Like, even though people might not know you're doing psychic work, you're getting psychic impressions and you're using that in your interactions with people, is what I'm getting. And so you're a very good dealer with people. You're very empathetic and kind. And so, like I said, a counselor, a therapist, anything in that realm, but then also your creative side. So you actually have a lot of options. So let's get into some of the actual career cards. So we got infinite abundance, career change, flowers, writing, and creative expression. So when these two came out, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the vibe I'm getting. Because at first I was a little confused with all the like 9 of cups. I'm like, okay, that's not a career. That is, to me, like, I mean, thinking about it more deeply, there's careers that come to mind, but at first I'm like, this seems like this person's supposed to just be partying and having fun. But now I get it. Like, I feel like you guys are highly creative. Also, you guys, like I said, you're good at interacting and dealing with people and kind of setting a vibe. Like, I feel like you guys would be that person that you just know how to talk to someone. Everyone would be like, oh my God, don't deal with that client. She's so difficult. She's so annoying. Like, she's just such a problem. And you would know exactly what to say to her. You would know how to approach her. You would be able to intuitively sense that she's upset because like her husband doesn't talk to her, and she feels really lonely and her husband's cheating on her and she can tell. So even if she's a wealthy person, she's miserable, and you would know how to approach her and come up and be like, hey, like, can I help you with that? And just know exactly what to do. And I actually think that a lot of times people like this in pile one, at first they have a lot of hardship figuring out, their career, because it's like, I can't make this work. I can't make that work. But sometimes that's a bigger blessing, because sometimes people just fall into like a career that doesn't fulfill their soul, but they're able to do it. And it's not really their life mission, but they're making good money at their accounting job or whatever. And then next thing they know, they're like 65 and they spent their whole life at that career, and there's not that much chance for career advancement in some of these fields. So they've kind of made the same income they were making around 30, maybe a little bit more, but it kind of plateaus off. They never really did anything, and it's kind of a waste of potential, right? I mean, everyone has different lives, so I'm not judging, but I think for you guys, it's almost like you're being blocked from finding a career that is just good enough, because spirit has something better in mind for you. And you guys actually picked pyrite. So that is a huge wealth crystal. And I feel like you guys are going to have this incredible wealth and this incredible abundance. And your first card here was infinite abundance. So I am getting, and the magician coming out, I am getting that you guys will be successful, but it may be something that happens later in life once you get aligned with this career change and with something that will fulfill this side. And you need to stop looking at this creative, emotional, social side of you that is very people oriented as a bad thing. Because I think a lot of times in our modern day workforce, people want their employees to kind of behave like a robot, and like, oh my God, I can't believe you spent an extra 15 minutes talking to that client on the phone because she was crying. Like, you need to only spend 10 minutes per client. You spent 25 with her. This is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of social human elements in like some careers. And I feel like sometimes that might work against you guys. Your coworkers not understanding why you connect with clients, or, or not, or maybe you're not as good at like the organizational aspect, but you're really good at like chatting with people and making them feel good, or you're really good at seeing things creatively, but when it comes to like adding the numbers up, you mess that up. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you guys will have, but the thing is that you guys, those kinds of people tend to make so much money. And actually, the sign with the most billionaires is apparently Pisces, of all signs, right? Like that has to be the last one people would expect right off the jump. Like people always talk about that when they find that out as a fact. They're like, what the heck? And then apparently second is Cancer. So yeah, also not a sign you would name as like, those are going to be the most successful. Why are those the most successful? I know Susan Miller speculates that Pisces is the most successful because they end up getting a really creative idea and becoming almost obsessed with it. Like they take it very personally, their ideas, because Pisces is so creative and so emotionally invested in it. So they end up kind of working obsessively about something and just doing it for the sake of it and treating it like their little baby. You know what I mean? And because of that, they end up manifesting this success, even though it's not the traditional linear, like, oh, you have to be a Capricorn to have money, or, you know, you have to be, I don't know, an Aries to have money or something, or you have to be really hard driving at Earth sign to get money. But actually, this creative vibe that you guys are giving off is so in line for money and success and abundance. And I just want you guys to know that, because I feel like people with who have this kind of a vibe, they often end up surrounded by people that are like, why can't you keep this job? Or why don't you just, you're so bad at school. Why are you failing out of school? But it's because they have this beautiful creative mind that's meant for something even better and even more important. Because something I was reading is that, you know, schools were designed for like factory workers back in the day, for the children of factory workers. So they wanted them to be good factory workers. They didn't want them thinking outside the box. They didn't want them, you know, being unruly or asking for more or being a visionary. They wanted them to just do their job and keep their head down and be very like not thinking outside of that. You know what I mean? But we don't actually have many factories, at least in America or the first world nowadays. A lot of times how you make real wealth is by being this visionary. They didn't want the factory workers back in the day rising up and creating something for themselves. But now we have more chance than ever. And so I feel like you not fitting into school or you not fitting into like this cubicle type of work means that many of you guys are destined for this huge success. And I really want this pile to know that, because it's just a message I'm getting for you guys. So creative fields would be great for you guys. I'm also getting YouTube or something like that, or some kind of you know, a platform that allows you to be creative and allows you to give your voice. So I feel like you guys have a lot of interesting ideas, creative expression. So painting or any kind of artistic creative fields, you guys would be fantastic in, graphic design or anything you can use that side of your brain, even like flower arranging or, you know, party planning. I have a friend who does flower arrangements, and, you know, she also kind of is on the party planning side, because there's a lot of like mix between that, I guess, of like, you have to arrange the flowers and you have to set up, you know, the kind of the venue, you know, while you're doing the flowers, if it's like really over the top arrangements. So I feel like party planning or, you know, even making invitations or interior design or something like that. Also writing. Again, you guys are great communicators. I feel like you guys would be fantastic at that. So let's get more cards. So we got the Sacred Union, Partnership, Romance, High Lady of Love and Compassion, Reverence, Kindness, Consideration, the Hawk Prince, Spirit, Communication, Paying Attention, the Camel Boy, Small Steps, Asking for Help, and finally the Word Lord, Communication, Praise, Dishonesty. So again, this emphasis on you guys being really good with your words and great at speech. I'm going to rearrange these so you can see more of the cards. But I think that yeah, you guys are very compassionate, and honestly, that might lead to some of you guys getting into like a marriage, I feel, because I think you guys are very, first of all, some of you guys are attractive, or you're just good in relationships. Like you would be a great, honestly, like wife or husband, you know, just because you're good at helping someone process their emotions. And almost like if you had like a CEO husband, you'd be great at like, he comes home and he's stressed and you're like, oh babe, like what happened, and talking them through it. And you're just a very supportive person in general. And so I feel like if you had a partner, maybe it would be a partnership where you were just like, I'm just going to stay home with the kids or something like that. And you guys would be awesome at that because of this high amount of compassion and sweetness, and you would make this kind of magical home. So some of you guys might be destined to kind of be like a stay-at-home mom or something like that. But only if that resonates. So I'm just laying out your options, because honestly, this pile doesn't have one particular, like, you have to do this, but these are the things that come to mind as options. And we always have options, from spirit. Like they're always going to give us the opportunity somewhat to choose a little bit of how we bring these gifts to life, how we serve this purpose. And so I feel like your main purpose for you guys is inspiring others with your creativity and giving them kindness and love, because you guys are so sweet and compassionate. So there's so many ways to do that. Again, psychic abilities are something a lot of you guys have. So you might be able to find a career in that if that's something you guys have thought about wanting to do. I feel like you guys would be definitely gifted in that. And also just helping people. I feel like a lot of people probably come to you guys for help. You might be that person that, like, you're shopping in a store and random person comes up to you and is like, oh, do you know where the like canned soup is? And you're like, I don't work here. And I don't know why you would think I do, because I'm literally in like a nice dress. And like, why would I be showing up to work in like a mini dress anyway? So I feel like you guys just give off a vibe where people are like, oh, this person will help me. This person is really kind and sweet. You might have like animals coming up to you and approaching you, or little kids that just love you, like a little kid that's just like waving and smiling at you, whenever you see a little kid on the street. I just feel like you guys have a compassionate, open heart chakra, and people are drawn to you because of that. So again, therapist or like counselor, or even like a teacher in a school where you're dealing with a bunch of different young people that some of them might have issues, or just helping people in general grow. There's something very beautiful about your energy, and so nurturing and so loving. So that's where I say some of you guys just might be stay-at-home moms, which is an amazing career and totally admirable. But yeah, it's like, I think that you really help people grow, and you give them this sweet, kind reassurance that I feel like so many people need. So I love that. But also this ability to speak and write. So you guys would be great writers. You would probably be great YouTubers or communicators on that kind of field. So we also got purity, moderation, believe in magic. I think you guys are great manifestors. Again, you got the magician with believe in magic. There is this metaphysical or spiritual component to you guys. Even I could see some of you guys being like, I want to say like a nun, or like, some kind of spiritual leader of some kind. Or like, I don't know, a preacher, or someone who does tarot or has a spiritual component to their work, or like a personal trainer, or like someone who is a nutritionist but helps people, like get to the root of their issues or why they're overeating, or helps them just get some knowledge in their life of like how they can improve it, because you guys are so nurturing and so sweet, and you have this very pure energy to you. So let me get some more cards. So we got empty well, time to replenish, watchers, transpersonal, beloved, radical acceptance, dragon sword, protecting the future, the further gate, bold step forward, and garden of Venus, rest and renewal. So I do think something maybe some of you guys need to watch out for is that you guys might, and I see this with a lot of water energy type people, is they can get easily depleted. So, they tend to absorb a lot of people's energy. And so if they're around a lot of toxic people, they can find themselves getting exhausted in a way that other signs may not, just because water is a very kind of open element from what I've seen of doing people's charts. So it's something to be aware of, that, you might need a little extra rest. And if that's the case, that's okay, and you might look into your human design. Some of you guys might be projectors in this pile, and projectors need a lot of rest, because this is definitely like projector vibes for sure. In fact, you guys should definitely look into that. I feel like you guys also, again, just confirmation you guys are probably going to be making a lot of money. And there's this element with Watchers Transpersonal that you might have a public platform. So you guys might be on YouTube or Instagram, but giving guidance to people. I feel like you guys are kind of leaders in this pile. And this is the thing is like, sometimes when someone has this energy at first, they end up getting put down so much and they almost have like a really negative idea of themselves. Like, oh, I'm just a loser. I'm not good at, I'm not good at, anything. I'm not good at work. I'm just going to be so broke my whole life. I'm never going to get work. And, their parents can be really concerned, like, well, why are you getting fired from these jobs? Or why haven't you found the right career? Like, this is crazy. You're 25 or something like that. And I feel like, that's because sometimes someone is a leader and people get threatened by the energy or they don't know how to take the energy. Whenever someone's a leader, they're going to be the first one to do something, right? They're going to be the early adapter. Whenever you're an early adapter, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, what the heck is this? I don't understand it. And even like, I'm scared of it. Like I could imagine the first person that drove a car through like a town where no one had heard of it, they probably thought it was like a dragon or some horrible thing. It was probably really loud and, smells horrible. And they probably thought it was like the apocalypse. So, whenever you're the first, you're going to have people like who don't get it and push back on you. And I feel like you guys are very much visionaries. So don't be upset if you guys are getting hated on by coworkers or having nasty negative reactions to you, because you're definitely destined for something really amazing. And I feel like with Empty Well, Time to Replenish, again, one of your callings is to help people who are going through a really hard time. So you might have people like that drawn to you. That's one of the ways you can kind of find out your destiny is how do you spend your time. And I feel like probably a lot of people in this pile have had people come up to them and just randomly ask them for advice all the time or tell them stuff, or you end up kind of counseling to all your friends all the time. Like you're constantly having those talks with your friends about like, well, like then Rodney just didn't text me back and I'm really upset. And you end up doing that all the time to your friends. Like you're like the little counselor mom of your friend group where they always come to you, when there's a breakup or when there's a boy problem or whatever. And that's a great way to know of like, if I'm doing this for free with all my friend group, maybe this has to do with my destiny. Maybe it's something I'm really good at. And I feel like you guys are very good at helping people come back from a bad point or from a low point for them. And I feel like that's going to make you guys a lot of money. And I also think you guys are very, honestly, like with Venus and Beloved, you guys are very attractive. So I'm not saying like, hey, just coast because you guys are going to get married to someone wealthy. But I do think you probably would be a prize for someone as far as a spouse. Of course, everyone kind of considers their spouse a prize, but let's be real, not every spouse is, right? But I think you guys truly are, because you'd be so supportive of the person you're with. You would really just gas them up and, want to take care of them and just be so loving to them that I think anyone would be lucky to have you as a partner. You're always going to like make them feel loved and make them feel good and inspire and encourage them. And that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I think a lot of people would just, you might get snatched up early on or something like that, or someone just who waltzes into your life and is like, I need a wife like this. I need a wife who's always got my back and is so loving. Or, I need a husband like this. I don't know. But I just feel like for some of you guys, that might happen. But these are the options that I'm seeing. There's so many options in this pile. But I do think you guys are probably going to, if you can figure this out, because it is a tough energy sometimes to figure out, but you're so gifted and the world needs people like this. Let me get some astro dice to see the energies here. Okay, so we got Capricorn, we got the nodes, and we got the fourth house. Fourth house relates to Cancer. And I almost said Cancer with this, like, what was I talking about? Wife vibe of like family, because Cancer is that caretaker. Cancer is the mom, literally, of the zodiac. It is the moon. So it's that person that will always take care of people and just be like looking after them and encouraging and cooking. And they just like, they like to do that. So that's definitely a vibe. And there's different ways to work that into your career. You can monetize that by, like I said, therapist, counselor, that kind of a thing. Or, you can marry someone and just, take care of them in that way, and maybe they're willing to provide you with like a separate income. Because I think it's important sometimes, when you are a stay-at-home mom or something, you do have to consider the fact that you're losing out on your income and your work experience. So I always advocate for like a woman who's doing that to protect herself financially by asking for like a separate bank account or some kind of fund, so that if there is a divorce or whatever, that she's taken care of. Because otherwise it sucks to enter the workplace with like 20 years missing on your resume. So just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. But I feel like you guys would be great moms, would be great caretakers for people. So loving, so sweet, so inspiring. I could almost see this almost being like, to like, how sometimes there's a like celebrity or someone who just has like a hanger on. And I always think that, as much as people will be like, oh, well, they don't have a job, they're just a hanger on. It's like, well, they might be giving that celebrity a lot of support, emotional support, because sometimes that can be like a full-time job, and that celebrity kind of gets drained and needs someone to encourage them and gas them up. And like, so something like that you guys would also be good at. But I don't think there's a lot of openings for that. But, talking to people and just giving people love, also creating that nightlife vibe, that fun vibe, like excitement, energy, social positivity. That's something you guys are really good at. So again, I could see nightlife, I could see party planner, I could see anything where you're dealing with people, because you guys are so good at dealing with people. Even like high-end sales or something like that, where you kind of develop a personal relationship with the person, where you're talking to the person and texting them afterwards and being like, hey, by the way, this arrived in the showroom, would you like to see it? And it's very person based, not just sales of like, you're just working in Best Buy and anyone walks in and you talk to them for 2 minutes and never see them again. Although you probably could rise through the ranks in that too, because you're good with people. But I think more of that personalized thing where you're very much using social skills, and you have to have good social skills to deal with different personalities and difficult, demanding personalities. You're good at that. You're good at talking to someone and, understanding where they're coming from and using your psychic intuition to be like, they're stressed because, they didn't get the raise they were hoping for. So I'm going to be extra delicate with them. Or like, oh, they're in a great mood, they're ready to spend money today, so I'm going to bring out the big stuff. Like, you guys are just great, I think, readers of people, and great at dealing with people and talking. So that's where also YouTube comes to mind. So with Capricorn coming out, that rules the 10th house, that can talk about visibility, and you guys having some kind of public platform. That can definitely talk about that for sure. So it's definitely social media or something like that. Also, what comes to mind with Capricorn is that it's ruled by Saturn, the planet of hardship. And anyone who has a ton of Saturn in their chart, I always know and just tell them basically, like, not to be a jerk, but it's kind of like your life is going to suck until you're like 30, and then it's going to be probably really awesome. Maybe even later than 30, but it's going to, usually Saturn is those hard lessons and then the big rewards once you get through the hard lessons. So whenever you see Saturn prominent in someone's chart, it basically usually means that, to me at least, in my experience, is you're going to go through a lot and then you're going to be rewarded big time. So it's actually, I generally like to see Saturn in someone's chart. I'm always like, good, awesome. They're going to get probably a lot of money, a lot of success, but it just stinks when they're going through that, but it's going to open up. And I was kind of getting Saturn vibes for some of you guys earlier, because I kept saying, I see this changing at a certain point. It's almost like it hits a certain peak, and then the path appears, and you guys are like, okay, I need to do this. But it doesn't surprise me if you guys have had a lot of hardships fitting in at work or not feeling like appreciated. Again, take that as just being par for the course, that you are on the right track and that you're being redirected, because you don't really want to fall into a job that like you really hate anyway, but like pays you a good job. I just think that's like a slow death. You know what I mean? So many people are stuck in jobs like that. And so if you guys are having a really hard time fitting in, like, again, just take that as like, ooh, I got the confirm, I'm on the right path, I'm doing good. And we got the nodes. So very strong destiny for you guys. You guys have a strong destiny, North Node. So I feel like you guys could be really powerful in this pile. Like, honestly, I feel like you guys have some kind of destiny that involves helping others, serving the collective, which I think is so beautiful, even through your art, you know. And like what's coming to mind is like Picasso. When he first started, people thought he was like crazy. Even the Impressionists, when they first started, people were like, are you guys insane? This, like, now you see a Matisse or, you know, a Monet, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful and it's gorgeous and it just is so inventive and pretty, but you know, it seems very regal and like acceptable to us. However, back in the day, something like that was shocking. It was like, is this a joke? Like, this doesn't look anything like the paintings we've seen. And it was very transgressive and considered bizarre and kind of shocking and kind of, you know, like wrong, you know. And I think that, so you have to keep in mind that, like I said, whenever you're doing something big, first, important, there's always going to be people that don't understand it, and they're not supposed to. So don't take it as a negative, because I feel like now we feel so lucky that we can see, you know, beautiful paintings of like Monet's water lilies and just see the beauty in that, and, you know, see how gorgeous, you know, Giverny looks. But back in the day, it was like, what in the world are these people doing? They're evil. And so you have to keep that in mind, that you guys have a big destiny of bringing beauty and inspiration and joy to this world, and you're going to get some pushback whenever that's the case. But I love the energy here. You guys have such a beautiful destiny, and I think you're going to have a lot of success if you can work this out and figure out how to move through the pushback and really live out these gifts and amazing abilities of art, emotional support to others, sociability, and speaking and communicating, and maybe writing or art or painting that you guys are gifted at. So I really hope that resonated, pile one. Let me know if it did in the comments. Very curious about this pile. I love this energy here, so let me know, and also make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my Patreon if you want to see my additional readings. The last one I posted is what would happen if you reached out to them? What would they say? So a little bit of a love reading for no contact or an ex. Check that out. Link is in my bio for that. And make sure you're subscribed over here and have those notifications on if you want to see more readings. But I am sending you guys so much love and light. I hope you all have an amazing day and take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, pile two. So if you guys picked this clear quartz crystal, this is going to be your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got Queen of Cups, Strength, the Sun, 10 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, and Death. So this is a really interesting combination between things. You guys have a lot of cups energy, and then you also have some pentacle energy, and we also have the sun and some fire energy coming through. So I feel like you guys are pretty balanced, honestly, in this, and you kind of combine this cups energy of being emotionally warm and open with also being really hardworking with so much pentacle energy coming through. So with the sun, I feel like it's kind of like the world is your oyster, and you guys could be really good at a lot of different things. But naming some of the energies coming through is, with the sun, a lot of times someone might have a destiny to be kind of center stage in some way, or to have some kind of a public platform in some way, or to be kind of literally on stage. So maybe performing in some way, maybe acting or public speaking or something like that. And I almost feel like you guys can handle a heavy, stressful workload with the 10 of Wands coming in and the 8 of Pentacles. I feel like you guys are hard workers. You're good at managing a lot of stress. You know, you wouldn't be daunted if the high position meant that you were having to work weekends or put in that extra time. I feel like you guys would thrive on it. So things that other people might not be able to handle, you're actually really strong and capable of handling it pretty easily. So because of that, I feel like you guys might be in for a lot of wealth with the 9 of Pentacles. But things that come to mind with the Queen of Cups would be that you guys are very nurturing, very loving. You might be psychically gifted as well, but you're probably very good with handling other people's emotions. I could see you guys being kind of a counselor, a therapist, and really something that's coming to mind for a lot of you guys would be a public speaker, because, or a motivational speaker, because with Death coming out and the 3 of Wands, I feel like you guys are good at helping people kind of plan their life, you know, like inspiring people to come back after defeat, or inspiring people to take a step forward into the world and like reroute something they're on. So I feel like you guys have this natural energy and this kind of center of attention type vibe. And then you're combining it with this sweet, loving quality of the Queen of Cups. So you might be delivering a tough message, but you're capable of doing it in a really gentle way. and you guys are capable also, I feel, of making your own schedule and living up to obligations. So I could also see something like an entrepreneur or someone who's a business owner, because I feel like you guys wouldn't mind working late nights, or you're not just like wanting to do a job where you're just collecting a paycheck. I feel like you guys might get frustrated sometimes at work because you're like, I'm the one who did 99% of this project, and why am I not getting paid more? Like, you know what I mean? Because you guys just are these hard workers. And I feel like you guys don't mind putting in that extra work, but it would be nice for you to receive the financial rewards for that in your work. So I feel like some of you guys also might be good at like travel planning or just planning in general, even like estate planning or any kind of job where having to look over a situation and judge it. You guys are very judicious. You're very like I said, good hard workers. You kind of understand the process of like taking something from beginning to end. Like, okay, we got to put the work in, we got to do this step, then that step. There's kind of a methodical quality to some of you. So I feel like something where you're helping people plan, or almost like a consultant, like someone who can come into a company and kind of be like, oh, you know what? We need to focus more on this. We need to leave this behind. You guys really have a very visionary quality to you that I think could apply in a lot of different careers. So let's talk about the career cards we got. We got teaching, nutrition, oracle cards, crystals, and environmentalist. So there's this really strong, I think, teacher energy and spiritual energy coming through really strongly. So I almost feel like this is like old souls within this pile. You guys, I feel, have a lot of guidance to give. You're really good guides, you know? So any kind of career where you're doing that, so like a nutritionist where you come in, maybe look at someone's diet and pick it apart and be like, you know, you should be eating more of this, you should give up that, or blah, blah, blah. I think would be good for you. You guys are that person that has a really good head on your shoulders and is capable of also staying very emotionally balanced. So I think any kind of career where you can do that, where you can kind of pick apart someone's life and tell them how to, you know, what the best path for them to take, that would be something that would be very much in your wheelhouse and something that would come easily to you. Teaching, counseling, therapy, something like that. You're very good at helping people move through their own emotions, because I think you tend to stay very balanced yourselves. So it's almost like you might have done this in past lifetimes where you served as a guide. I almost feel like some of you guys served as a guide for powerful people. So like maybe you were like a lady in waiting to a princess and you would, you know, counsel her, or maybe you were like the right-hand man of a powerful merchant and you would give him advice on how to run his company. But you're very good at looking at a problem and kind of figuring out how to solve it, if that makes sense. And I feel like you could apply this to a lot of different fields. Because what really is exceptional about you is the vision, is the ability you have to take a situation and really look at it and kind of examine all its parts and sum up the information very cohesively and quickly. So I do see that, you know, this could apply to like being a business consultant, you know, coming into a business and telling them what they need to fix. Or, you know, maybe you really love health and fitness and you could do it as being someone's personal trainer or nutritionist or someone's personal cook or something, and really help them kind of change their diet or something like that. Maybe even oracle cards, or doing some kind of spiritual work, selling crystals or being a psychic or something like that. Again, this pile I feel is very psychically gifted and spiritually gifted and probably did this work for a number of lifetimes. Maybe environmentalism too. Maybe you guys have a connection to nature and you'd be a good nature guide, or just working for a charity or a company. Again, like the advantage here is not so much being focused on just one area, but more like that part of your brain that is really good at taking a problem and understanding how to fix it, and being able to apply the hard work for it, being very reliable, being willing to do the work and take it step by step. And honestly, I really do feel like a lot of you guys in this pile could be entrepreneurs who run their own business, run their own company. And if you're not an entrepreneur, I feel like you could be the second in charge, or like the, you know, the vice president, or someone who is very high up within it. I don't know that I feel like you guys would quickly rise through the ranks, because I feel like you guys just have kind of a bird's eye view. A bird's eye vision is what I'm seeing, is like, you know how when you're kind of down, like I, for example, have a really high up view in my apartment. I have like the top floor. And so then I'll go for walks around my apartment or around my neighborhood. And I'm always like, I can't believe the road is shaped like this. Like I thought it was curved this way, or I didn't know it was curved, or I thought it was like straight and I didn't even notice it was curving. But now when I'm up here, I can see that it does have a slight curve. and it's actually totally curved. But when you're walking that way, like you wouldn't notice the curve of it because it's very slight. So I feel like you guys are capable of just looking at things from kind of a high up perspective and seeing the holes and seeing what needs to change. So let's get some more cards. So we got the Metal King, Discipline, Armor, Boundaries, Ringmaster of Scrutiny, Discernment, Clear Vision, Details, the Web Weaver, Synchronicity, Divine Intelligence, Cause and Effect. And this is where we get into a bunch of spiritual cards. Queen of the Light, Illumination, Enlightenment, Celebration, the Lady of the Gift, Generosity, Receiving, Withholding, the Well Watcher, Wisdom, Power of the Divine, and the Prison Wave, Self-Sabotage, Poverty, Consciousness. So I feel like you guys, honestly, I'm getting you're really good with money. I feel like you guys are good at managing money. I feel like you guys are good at understanding the power of money. Honestly, I keep getting a vibe that some of you guys would make a great, like you get along well with people who have money. You guys might like luxury yourselves with the Nine of Pentacles there. And you would be a great kind of like consultant for, someone who has money, or like, you know how sometimes someone who has enough money, they'll just have like some random personal assistant or someone that they just kind of pay to hang out with them, almost, that like you're like, is that even a job? But they'll give them like a salary just to hang around. I feel like, you guys would be good at something like that, like just an advisor, someone who like is close to someone, helps them run their company, helps them run their life. Something like that, because you guys, I think, are really good at managing money. You also would probably be good, again, at these motivational speeches or helping inspire people how to get out of poverty. I feel like something about this pile is you guys feel very brass tacks, like you are kind of no nonsense, like you don't sit around, and you had this Queen of Cups encouraging quality, but you're also not just going to be like, it's all sunshine and rainbows and all you have to do to manifest a good life is just be happy, and all you have to do is just wake up in the morning and sing. Like, you guys understand that, manifesting things does take an element of hard work and discipline and consistency. And so I feel like you are very good at combining that encouragement with like the discipline, and like, we gotta get this going. We can't just be in like a happy vibe dancing around all the time. We've got to make sure we're also putting in the work. I always think manifesting, it's kind of like, some people think with manifesting, you're just imagining it and that's all the work you do. And that's a huge part, but it's kind of like how when you're an artist, you have to imagine the painting first in your mind. And honestly, as someone who used to do art, sometimes you'll just be like, I'm just going to start this painting, and you don't plan it out. And then you're halfway through the painting and you realize you completely put it off center. Like, the item that was supposed to be in the center is actually halfway off the painting. And you're like, oh my God, this looks horrible. This is a horrible angle. So it's good to like make sure that vision is right in the beginning, but then also the main part of being a painter and making a painting is that actual, putting the paint on the canvas. You can't just imagine it. And I feel like you guys would be good at teaching people that, teaching them how to work hard, how to get things done. So I could see you guys doing some kind of writing, because I feel like you guys are good at communication, or also, again, just being a very good public speaker, communicator. If you guys have thought about doing YouTube or something, with the sun coming out, that could be an indication that you guys are supposed to take center stage, that you guys have ideas that would be worth sharing with the world, because the sun is Leo. It's the spotlight. It does have to do with fame or attention, or people paying attention to you and having their eyes on you. And I feel like something major that keeps coming out is this energy of like divine intelligence, divine knowledge, getting divine downloads. So maybe some of you guys are psychics or are mediums, or you just do spiritual work, talk about spiritual things. Maybe you're aware of that stuff. Maybe you do astrology. But I feel like one of your kind of life purposes is to share this divine wisdom that you guys get. And maybe it might even be just for now, for some of you guys, with like your friend group. Maybe you're that person that in your friend group that's always like, hey girl, by the way, take this crystal because you need some, and maybe you guys, and it's funny you guys got clear quartz, because that is a card of, or a crystal of psychic knowledge, psychic wisdom, divine downloads. And so I feel like a lot of you guys get that. And I feel like a lot of you guys have a lot of knowledge in that sphere. So maybe you do herbalism, or the different kind of planetary aspects of different herbs, or maybe you guys, I just feel like you have a lot of deep knowledge in this subject, some of you guys, that you might be able to share with the world, or you just get random insights of like inspiration to share with people. But you guys, I feel like, could weave this into your job. Like, I feel like, it's funny when you talk about Silicon Valley, or when you go into that realm of like tech companies, or modern day technology companies, I think it's so funny how many of them meditate or fast or do spiritual practices every day, do yoga, all this stuff. I'm like, what the heck? Because to me, I always think of that as kind of a world apart from, spirituality. But in fact, they're actually very woven together. And a lot of those companies, they'll have a boss or have someone high up at the company that uses a lot of those affirmations, inspires people through kind of spiritual messages, even if it's not called that, even if they're just, saying like, we're doing a group yoga class, there is that spiritual component. So I feel like, again, I could see this company just being a CEO or a leader or some kind. I keep seeing, and I don't know the word for it. I think it's called a corporate raider, which is probably the bad word for this, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it's someone that buys up companies and then restructures them, or maybe does it in a more positive way where you're not buying up the company, but you're coming in and helping fix it. I just feel like something where you're fixing the problems in someone's career, company. Even I could see, you could be a consultant for different governments or different different people, like maybe PR, where you're coming in and you're kind of taking apart problems and figuring out how to fix it. Again, you guys are good with dealing with people. You're good at like public opinion. You're good at like PR, I feel. So I think you guys would be really good in any kind of field like that. But this is what I'm getting as like a major gift, is like the ability to see problems and flaws and figure out how to fix them, and also to be aware of public perception, the kind of messages you want to give out, and that kind of a thing. So let's get more cards. So we got tree wisdom, abundance, magical blessings, motivation, and stargazing. You guys would really be great motivational speakers. And again, sometimes you don't even have to be a personal motivational speaker. You could be like a private motivational speaker for, a very wealthy person or a celebrity, where like they call you up whenever they need, a private session, or they call you, and you, or maybe you live with them and you help them. Like, I just feel like there's something about you guys where you're good at helping people, talking to them, inspiring them, uplifting them. And this is a really powerful job, for also almost all of human history. That's why the king always was surrounded by like his advisors and his people, because most people understand the value of having a team that has good judgment and has their head screwed on straight, and who can advise you like, you should do this. No, you shouldn't do that. So I feel like something like that, it could manifest in so many different ways, but you guys have this vision and this ability to take apart problems that's highly, highly intelligent, and would make an asset to any company you were a part of or any person you were involved with. So yeah, your wisdom is like the main thing we're picking up on. And I do feel like it's spiritually divine. And I do feel like you guys have used it in many multiple past lifetimes. With abundance coming out, I feel like you guys will probably manifest a lot of wealth, a lot of luxury in your life. And so I think this pile is going to be my, my wealthy pile that really achieves some amazing stuff. And again, you guys might not do as well at the kind of lower positions, it's like, but if someone handed you a company and you just had the bigger problems to solve, I feel like you guys would be really good at them. Although you guys don't seem to me that disorganized, so maybe you would be a good secretary too, and you would be able to rise up the ranks that way. But I feel like you guys will really excel at those higher level positions where you're really making big decisions and kind of considering the grand scope of a company. So let's get more cards. So we also got a tidy house, clarity and organization, heart home, compassion, benefactor, grace and generosity, moon maiden, new beginnings, whale song, resonating, and closing door, completion. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, benefactor. Like a lot of times, that's what people would call it back in the day, is like, oh, they have a benefactor. But it was a very symbiotic relationship where both sides were bringing value, because obviously unless someone's crazy, they're not just going to pay for someone for no reason, and just they have to be giving something back. They have to be. So a lot of those stories where it was like, oh, the king just had this friend that like kind of lived in the castle, or like this this group of friends that he would come to, it's like, for help. Like, probably those people were doing stuff for them. They probably were consulting and giving advice and giving wisdom. And there was a lot of people like that back in the day when society was more hierarchical, and there was more of that just like obvious kind of hierarchy and delineation between roles. You can think of someone like, he's obviously a horrible example of the bad side of this, but like Rasputin. But obviously there's been a lot of really good kind of, you know, advisors and consultants to people. Like, I don't know if he did it, but like Merlin, you know what I mean? Someone who like had a psychic ability or had some magic ability and was able to give wisdom and advice to like someone in power. So guide the kind of country or guide how the company was going to go. And I feel like you guys would be good at something like that on a personal level with one company in particular, one person in particular, but also on a grand scale. Because a lot of times these people who are visionaries like that, they can apply it to the general population. They can give advice for a country or advice for, let's have the company try this type of outreach. You know what I mean? So I just think that this is a big gift that you guys have had throughout lifetimes. You might check your South Node and see what houses it's in. Sorry, I don't know why that word was so hard to say, but you guys might have a Scorpio South Node, or something like that, where you were kind of using psychic knowledge in a very close relationship with someone. Something, eighth house as well. But I just feel like a lot of you guys were kind of some kind of advice giver in past lifetimes, and you should be doing something like that or using that ability of discernment in this life, in your career. I hope that makes sense. And you guys are very compassionate. I feel like you're good at combining this kind of very logical, brass tacks type of personality that you guys have, where you're very good at seeing things dispassionately, but then you also have a very sweet, compassionate side, and you truly see the best in people, want the best for them. You're not just, like I said, a corporate raider who just is like, I want money and I'm just going to take it over and screw these people. You're like, I really do want this person to succeed. I want the best. I'm looking out for them. I hope they have all the goodness in the world. And so you might be getting a lot of ancestral wisdom, ancestral downloads as well. But a lot of these cards have to do with psychic abilities. And also we got closing door completion and moon maiden, new beginnings. So I feel like, again, if someone's going through a rough time in their life, going through, a rough period where they're kind of having to, maybe make a lot of deep changes, you guys would be really good at helping them kind of reframe and relook at the situation. So like I said, a consultant coming into a failing company and seeing what they can change to start making money, or someone who will, someone's going through a depression and you come in and you help them, realize that they need to do things to change to get out of the depression or something like that, or inspire them to get a new lease on life, or someone had a real hardship and you're kind of like, okay, time to get back on your feet, let's try this. So again, I kind of feel like personal trainers do work like that, even though it's not classified as motivational work. That's kind of what it is. Or a nutritionist, or even like a nanny or something, something where you're working really closely with someone and kind of inspiring them, like helping them get back on their feet. You guys are so good. And I feel like, it's funny you guys got trust, because I feel like that's the thing, is you're very trustworthy. A lot of people trust you. They get a good vibe from you, and you would be great at any field that requires a lot of trust, kind of like delicate subjects as well. So like I said, PR, like I feel like you would be great for someone to call in a crisis thing after, like the Job on Scandal, like a celebrity gets in some kind of a public crisis and you come in and you're like, okay, we're going to address it by saying this, and we should, go this route and all of that. So there's a very strong energy of you guys having that kind of vision, understanding kind of collective energy and knowing how to work with it, and understanding the masses really well and knowing what the masses like. You could also be doing like advertising or something like that. Or like I said, just figuring out like, what, maybe our company should work on developing this because I see it being a trend in the future. You guys are probably that group that like gets onto like a certain musician or a certain trend way before it does. And that's kind of this vision you're getting. It's the same thing. You're good at like seeing public, like, this is what I mean, where you have a bird's eye view, I guess. You're good at looking at a situation and not just getting deep down in the details, although you're good at that, but actually pulling back and being like, I think it's going to move this way too. And this is what's going on now, but in the future it's this. So there's very high level thinking here. So anything where you're using that, again, advertising, PR, or just, you know what, we should market it to this, or we should focus on this for our next development thing, or we should leave this thing behind because even though it's trendy right now, I don't think it's going to be a trend for much longer. Those kinds of things, like this is like a great business pile. I feel this would be a person who's great in business, great at opening companies, great at running companies, just so much ability in that realm. So let me get some astro dice for you guys, pile 3, and see what kind of astrological energies are at play. So we got 12th house, we got Virgo, and we got Saturn. Wow. So Saturn is really that hard worker of the zodiac. It is the tough lessons as well. It relates to the 10th house and Capricorn. And you guys truly seem like hard workers from what I can tell. So I think that that really separates you from the crowd. This is where I say being an entrepreneur would be something that would come easily to you, because when you're an entrepreneur, you have to put in those late nights. You have to really focus on, working hard and making your own schedule, and you don't have a boss watching over you, so it can be easy to slack off. So you have to have that internal discipline of like, I want to get this done. And I often find that with a lot of Capricorns in my personal readings, where like, I'm like, when's the last time you took a break or a vacation? And if they own their own job, it'll be like never, or like 5 years ago. And it's like, they love to work. Really, Capricorns, most of the time, they just love to work, and it kind of is on their brain whenever they're not working. I almost feel like some of you guys in this pile probably don't even watch me regularly, but you probably did a search for like work readings because that's probably your favorite kind of tarot readings, because Capricorns do tend to be very achievement focused and less like, I just want romance, and more like, I want that money, I want that success, I want that bag. And 10th house can definitely indicate public success and public acclaim and stuff like that. So 12th house relates to Pisces, it relates to Neptune. And again, this is the divine wisdom I was picking up on you guys having. You guys are really good at combining this hard work energy that you have with the psychic divine downloads and with this intuitive knowledge of what you should focus on, where you should go, what you should do. You're getting these downloads from spirit, from your guides, from your ancestors. So don't doubt them or second guess them. Don't be like, well, I don't know about that. Well, I'm not sure. Like, trust it and believe it, because you guys really are powerfully gifted in this area. You really are very intuitive and very psychic. So don't feel like I'm not sure, or like this doesn't make any sense. That's how a lot of psychic abilities work. So don't feel weird if you're relying on that side, because know that this is a divine gift for you guys. So if you suddenly get a random download of like, our company should focus on this, really, you guys should trust that. Also, I want to mention that Pisces is very nurturing. Spirit is telling me to mention that. So again, I love that this combination is of coming in really hot and like tough, but not overbearing or abrupt or harsh, combining it with that Pisces sweet Queen of Cups energy of being very nice and loving. And so you could probably tell someone like, you need to improve this, but you say it in such a way that people are like, oh, that's so nice, thank you. And that's a great, great, great combination to have. So then we have Virgo ending the reading. So Virgo energy is so perfect for you guys. It is an earth sign. You guys have a lot of pentacle cards, so earth energy. And Virgo is all about the details. And this is what I said, is you guys are great at handling the details and seeing the big picture. And that's something Virgo is really amazing at. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It also relates to the 6th house of work and daily work life. So I feel like you guys enjoy working, and this is another advantage that will probably lead you guys to have a lot of success. Is like, you are not someone that just wants to be posted up on a beach with a margarita, maybe once in a while, but actually most Capricorns and Virgos probably too genuinely like to work. They don't want to just be coasting all the time. They want to be like doing stuff and getting it done. And so the thing about Virgo is they love seeing details. They're ruled by Mercury. They're really intelligent thinkers. This is what I'm saying, is like, this is a huge advantage. I mean, I know maybe some of you guys are like, oh, well, that's general, but I really feel like there's so many jobs nowadays that don't really require a ton of thinking, or you can do them without thinking. But when we get to the higher level jobs, right, CEO or general manager of a company, or any kind of power position of authority, you need to have that higher level thinking, that deep vision of this is what we could change, this is what we could fix, and you guys have that. This is where I think we have a lot of success and abundance energy coming in, and we've had a lot of cards about that, because most of the people that end up being in those high level positions, it's not just about doing the job based on like rote memorization of, oh, I'm supposed to put this here, okay, I'll do that, and mindlessly doing it. It's about being able to go through and really use your brain to see problems, to anticipate problems, to see what can be fixed and changed, and that's what you guys have. So this is where I say it would be great if someone just handed you a company, or you can work your way up to a high level position. But I feel like you guys will do that anyway because you're great at putting in the work. You have a lot of this enthusiasm, and you guys are just really highly intelligent. I mean, Virgo is a very intelligent sign and great at seeing the details. They're also very tidy and neat, generally. A healthy Virgo, using their energy very well is going to be pretty healthy, or be very neat and good at organizing. And also something that comes to mind is sometimes with Virgo energy, it's not even physical organizing, it's mentally putting things into like boxes and helping sort things and being like, let me meet this person, they'd be good at this, or let me, see this product, that would be good over there, and just reading things and making those decisions that you might be like, well, can't everyone do that? No, they can't. And a lot of people don't have that ability. So don't underestimate that. I feel like you guys would make great consultants, therapists, helping people, even, doing this kind of work like tarot or psychic abilities. You're having to make those decisions with people and meet them and kind of, tell them what needs to be changed in their life. You guys would be great at that. Counseling, teaching, PR, advertising, all of that, or even YouTube or public speaking, because I think you guys are great motivators. You combine that hard work with this loving Pisces energy. So I love this. I feel like you guys are going to achieve some great things. I got a big energy boost from this pile. I don't need any coffee after this. So thank you guys for that. That was fun to tap into. But anyway, I really hope it resonated. Let me know if it did in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. So let me know, and make sure to give it a big thumbs up as well. And if you want to check out my Patreon, I post all my additional readings over there, including my last one, which is about what would happen if you reached out and contacted them. What would they say? How would they react? So we get into it. Check out the link to that in my bio. If you want to join us over on Patreon, I have a ton of videos, so check that out. And if you want to subscribe over here and turn those notifications on, I post new readings all the time here as well. So make sure you're subscribed. I am sending you guys so much love and light, and I hope you all have an amazing day and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hey, pile 3, so if you guys picked this rose quartz crystal, this is going to be your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got Wheel of Fortune, 6 of Wands, 3 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands, 3 of Cups, 9 of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. So what's really interesting is how the 3 of Cups came out next to the 9 of Cups. So I feel like you guys are probably pretty good socially, and honestly, this can talk about kind of a lifestyle of going out, going to parties, socializing. So this might be a major part of your work, especially since it came out after the 4 of Wands, which is literally about parties and celebration. So I do feel like there may be some element of glamour to fields you guys would be good in, especially with the 6 of Wands coming out with that. So maybe even something like an influencer or being in fashion. 6 of Wands is a card about kind of public recognition. So it definitely could point to a career in the public eye, or I'm thinking of some kind of a field that involves like talking to the public. So like fashion, because a lot of that is about glamour. It's about public perception. It's about putting on fashion shows and doing advertising and marketing to the public. So I really just feel like your guys' career would be really great if it involves some element of fashion or glamour or public recognition. So again, like acting or singing or something where you guys are performing in front of a crowd, or something where you guys get to go out a lot and socialize. So I could also see kind of being a party planner or having some field where you're in that. I know there are certain professions where you're just kind of going to parties or going to different meetings that seem very glamorous, maybe working in like magazines or even book publishing, because a lot of it is like, lunches and stuff like that. And more of that socialization aspect. I feel like you guys would be really, really good at that. And with the Queen of Swords as well, that could talk to having a strength in communication, in writing, in being a really great speaker. So there's a lot of fields that come to mind as something you guys would be good at. With the Ace of Wands coming out, honestly, you guys might be very physically attractive to people and might have a lot of natural energy. So I almost feel like you guys would also excel in any kind of profession where you're kind of running around, doing a lot of stuff. So like I said, I know those fields that are kind of glamorous like that. You know how in like The Devil Wears Prada, she's running around from place to place and fashion shows and picking up different stuff. And I feel like a lot of those industries where there is a lot of socialization also tend to be pretty fast paced and like running from this meeting to that meeting. And you guys would be good at that. Also, this element of you guys being quite physically attractive. So it may be something like being an influencer or being an Instagram model or having a YouTube channel where you showcase your beauty and your beautiful, natural, attractive energy. I just feel like you guys, honestly, it may be a field that a lot of people are trying to get into with the Wheel of Fortune. It may be people asking like, how are you so lucky? How did you get into this? Maybe a field that a lot of people dream about or think is very glamorous, but you end up breaking through in it. Because I do see that there's kind of an element of luck there, or you feeling very lucky that you got into this. So yeah, I'm not sure, I feel like there's a lot of different fields that would involve this, but with the Three of Cups and Nine of Cups coming out, definitely socialization, being around others and using those social contacts is going to be really big. And honestly, may not be socialization. It may just be a lifestyle that's kind of a lot easier with the Nine of Cups. It may be a lifestyle where you're not having to break your back every day and you're not having to, in fact, there may be some people that say something like, oh, you're not working, or that's not a real job, With the Seven of Pentacles, it may just be you're kind of just reaping the rewards that other people would feel like they would have to work so hard to get that kind of a paycheck. But you're just like, well, I kind of blew through, the planting season and now I'm in the rewards season. So I feel like there may be people jealous of this, or it may be a field where a lot of people almost have, mixed feelings about it. But I see that as something you guys would be really good at. So we also got Builder, Leadership, You're on the Right Path, Animals, Options, Speaker, and Freedom. And to be honest, Influencer was not one of the cards that is in this deck. So I kind of wasn't expecting it to pop out, but I do feel like for a lot of you guys, that would be something you're good at, and kind of Speaker alludes to it. And also with the Builder, like there is absolutely no reason why they had to make this angel shirtless with like a six-pack and pecs. So I just feel like maybe some of you guys are very physically attractive. Either you have a very beautiful body or you have a very beautiful face. And I feel like people would love to look at your content, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. I feel like you guys, a lot of you have a very physically attractive quality to you, or you guys just exude this kind of glamour. Where there's a lot of Venus energy around you and a lot of people are drawn to you because of your style, your vibe, how you dress yourself, that kind of a thing. But I do see you guys taking more of a center stage role. So like getting into the spotlight a little bit with the Six of Wands. So you're not just hiding away in the back room. I feel like you guys do in this pile have some kind of a public presence of some kind. Again, some of you guys might be in creative fields like acting, singing, modeling, or something like that, or making content online that's creative. But I just see a lot of people kind of knowing your face or knowing your name, and that being a destiny and an option for a lot of you guys. And again, taking center stage. So maybe you guys will be speaking. Maybe you have a YouTube channel where you would speak out loud and talk to people or give your opinion. I feel like with this path, it may give you a lot of freedom. And again, this is where I'm saying a lot of people might say stuff like, well, they don't ever work, or like, that's not a real job. What kind of a job is that? Like, I have to go to my office every day from 7 a.m. until 6. And this is not fair that this person makes so much money and all they do is XYZ, you know what I mean? But I feel like there's an aspect of that again, a lot of people would love to have it with the Wheel of Fortune. It's almost like they're a little bit jealous that you guys have this kind of a lifestyle. And maybe you guys would be traveling a lot or going to glamorous locations. But I see it being more of an open schedule for you guys. So if this is something you guys have been feeling called to do, like making a YouTube channel or posting yourself on Instagram or TikTok, I feel like this is the message that you guys should go to it. again, we have options always. Spirit gives us things that we're good at, and then we get to choose how we kind of use that, how we kind of make it happen in our life. But I do feel like a lot of you guys would be great in the public eye, and a lot of people would be drawn to you in that sense. A lot of people, would love to see you because you guys have a very glamorous, nice vibe to you. And I feel like also you're just fun to be around. With the 9 of Cups and 3 of Cups, you're probably like either funny, or you bring a life, some spark to different occasions. Ace of Wands is definitely a spark as well. So there's something about you that I feel like people just enjoy it. They would enjoy your content. They would think it's fun. They would, it would give them kind of a lift in their day. So even though in these kinds of professions that a lot of people would love to be in, there's a lot of jealous haters, I feel like a lot of people are going to support you and like what you guys are doing. So we got the Word Lord, communication, praise, dishonesty, the Sun Dancers, joyful activity, celebration of life, abundance, the Resting Tree, patience, stillness, the Wise Woman of Wonderland, integrity, compromise, and the Desert Prince, survival, false promises, and the Hungry Ghost, obsessions, scarcity, consciousness, attachments. So I do feel like some people might kind of get obsessed with you guys. Like, I feel like you guys might have that star quality that sometimes, you know, maybe you have people watching your content that like get a little too into it or something like that, but it's like you inspire this devotion. You inspire people to look at you and to watch you and to see what you're doing, because you guys are just a very interesting person, you know? There's something interesting and special about you that people are just drawn to. And so they wouldn't mind watching your content or sitting through an ad or something like that. And I feel like with the Resting Tree, there's also this element of like you not having to work so hard. Like if you choose to work hard, you can, but there may just even be this perception of like, oh, they don't work. All they do is sit at home and collect checks, or like, what kind of a job is that? And I feel like people say that a lot about, again, influencers or actors or models or singers or anyone in those kind of more glamorous professions, or even fashion. Even though I feel like people in fashion, generally speaking, are always running around and doing a lot, there's a lot of people that would say like, oh, it's not a real job. You know, if you're not like in coal mines, you're not working a real job. But I feel like you guys just have some aspect of glamour to you. There is this joyful quality to you that makes people want to celebrate things and kind of take the edge off. There's almost this lighthearted quality to you. So I feel like some of you guys might have a really good sense of humor, or just there's something kind of playful, fairy-like about your energy, where people might just see your face and feel happy and feel some joy. You know, some people just have a look about them that you just see them and maybe they're smiling in a photo and you automatically smile, or you want to smile, or you want to laugh with them. There's just something about them that you're like, I was having a bad day, but then I saw them and now I feel better. And I feel like some of you guys have that quality, and you're very good at communicating. You guys are very good at writing or with your words. So again, this energy that if you were to speak for a living or make videos or have to create content, I feel like you guys would be good at coming up with that. So again, with the Desert Prince, they did not need to make this man shirtless with a six-pack. So I'm again picking up that some of you guys are very physically attractive, or you might be good at a field like bodybuilding, or you know, like what is it, personal training, or kind of like being a fitness influencer or something like that. But I feel like you guys keep yourselves looking really good, a lot of you. So there is this aspect that you might use that in your career. I know that in some professions, like even though they say like they would never put that on the resume, there is this aspect of judging people based on how they look and judging them based on the clothes they wear. And I'm definitely not like, you know, saying that's good, or what is it, like approving of that, but I just think that endorsing it, but I just think that you guys would survive and thrive in those kinds of conditions. So, you know, you got to kind of use what you got in this world, right? Because it's tough, and I feel like you guys would be good at that. You would thrive, you would do well in those situations. If someone was judging you on appearance, you would pass with flying colors. So, you know, I always say use that. I think physical beauty is a gift just like anyone else. Sometimes in my private consultations, I'll talk to someone and they're like, oh yeah, like I know, well, like I guess I know I'm kind of cute, but I don't know, like I feel bad about that. And I'm like, why would you feel bad? That is a gift from spirit. That is just another tool in your wheelhouse, you know, just another tool in your toolkit. Just like someone's intelligent, they should use that in their career, or someone is I don't know, a good listener or a good speaker, they should use that. So same with beauty. If you do happen to be beautiful, there's nothing wrong with finding a career that utilizes that, right? That's how I feel about it, at least. Obviously, you know, there's certain things that can be exploitative of stuff like that. And I'm not saying you should get involved with an exploitative industry, but I am saying that if you can do it in a way where you're in power and in control of yourself, then there's no reason why you should feel bad about looking good or feeling your best. And, you know, that's just a part of your destiny and your gifts. And it's, you know, we all have our gifts, so why not use them, right? But I feel like a lot of people are drawn to you. You might even not have to like work so hard. You might like marry someone who is willing to pay for you or something like that, because I just feel like you guys have this magnetism of attractiveness about you guys. So you might get married to someone or who has some money or something like that. We got light, lost and found, divination, protect your dreams, and believe in magic. So some of you guys have had these kinds of dreams for a long time, and maybe you had people that told you it's not possible. Like, oh my God, there's no way you can survive in the entertainment industry. Do you know how hard it is? Or like, there's no way you could become a model. The competition is crazy. I feel like you guys should know that all our dreams are always going to be possible if we put the work in and we go through things wisely and we continue to work and pray and ask our ancestors, ask our guides for help. Then we absolutely can achieve any of our dreams. Ask our angels, ask God, Jesus, whoever you want to ask, that's okay. But I feel like a lot of you guys should know that your dreams are possible. And some of the things you guys would be great at would be things that, you know, a lot of people consider a pipe dream, or people say like, maybe a lot of people have that dream, but not that many people actually go for it and try it. But you guys can succeed, and you have the luck and you have the ability to separate you from the pack, because it's kind of like when someone's predicting whether they're good at something, like maybe I had a dream to go to MIT, but I'm really bad at math. So that's not really a possible dream for me. But if someone gets A+ in math every time and they have a perfect score on their math SATs and they're amazing at math, then no one should tell them like, oh, there's no chance of you getting into MIT. Do you know how hard it is? There's no way. Who do you think you are? So that's the thing, is like, if you are gifted in something, yes, maybe other people tried and failed, but they might not have the gifts you have. And I feel like a lot of you guys need to hear that message, because maybe this is something that seems like a long shot, or that a lot of people have tried to do, or a lot of people would want to do but couldn't, but that's not necessarily your rules. So everyone has their different lane, right? And everyone is good at different things. And I feel like this pile is good at some of those glamorous professions that a lot of people probably want to get into, but you guys have those gifts. So I just want to say that to you guys. And with light, I am getting Leo energy. I am getting that you guys are kind of center of attention vibes. You guys would be good if a lot of people look at you, a lot of people would be drawn to you, and a lot of people, I think, would kind of find you or be drawn to you. They might, you know, stumble across your page and be like, oh, I really like this person. But there is this aspect of being in the spotlight that I see really strongly with the divination and believe in magic. Maybe you guys are very psychically or intuitively gifted as well. So you guys might have an option of being in some kind of a field that is esoteric in nature or metaphysical, like tarot or doing psychic readings or mediumship or something like that, or even crystals. But I feel like also you should know that you can, you know, bring these gifts if you are good at manifesting, or you are good on the psychic side, or you do get downloads from spirit, then definitely listen to those, because again, this could be a message for some of you that you have been thinking of pursuing a dream that seems like a long shot, seems impossible, seems like all these people tried and failed, but they're not you, right? Some people do succeed at it. And depending on your gifts, it may be an easy possibility for you, something that someone else would struggle at for years, you might be able to do easily. So use like those downloads spirit is giving you, and maybe you're a master manifester and you can just make it happen. So again, don't judge what you should do based on what others have tried to do or the rules that applied for others, because I just think this pile has a very special energy, and there's something about it that again, these are competitive industries for sure, and industries that a lot of people probably want to try to be in, but you guys are, you know, very glamorous, very beautiful. And so, yeah, you should know that. But anyway, let's get more cards. So we got Skywriting the Fates, Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom, Mindful, Group Think, Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine, Spirit of the River, caterpillar opportunity that I skipped over, feast of plenty, choices and their consequences, and perfect storm, the courage to step into life. So some of you guys need a courage to get into this. You need to know that it's possible. So I am here to give you that message that it is possible. And maybe it's written in the stars. Maybe it's the fates, you know, but I always think there's an aspect of fate that sometimes people rely on it too much. Like they're like, well, if I'm supposed to be an actor, then I'll just be discovered walking down the street here in Iowa. And it's like, well, probably not. You know, you probably do have to get an agent or move to LA and go to auditions or film yourself on TikTok, you know, or whatever, acting. Like you gotta put yourself out there some way. So I feel like if you have been called to do something, start a YouTube channel or a TikTok or an Instagram, put yourself out there and do it, you know, because you gotta have the courage. You gotta take that first step. You gotta knock on the door before spirit can open it. And that's something I see sometimes as people who are very spiritually involved will sometimes just be like, I'm leaving it to spirit, and spirit wants us to take those first steps. So definitely think about that if this is something that is resonating with you and you have felt called to some of these professions, but don't let yourself be held back from it, because I feel like with mindful groupthink, there is something about you guys influencing the masses, or that a lot of people would be drawn to you, and that this star quality, star potential is something hanging really strongly over you guys. Cosmic womb, divine feminine, a lot of you guys exude this kind of glamorous, feminine, very attractive vibe where so many people are drawn to your sexual magnetism and will literally fantasize about you guys with the Ace of Wands. So you have a very sexually magnetic quality, especially my feminines, but masculines could be too, just translated over into divine masculine. But I feel like a lot of you guys are just very attractive, and you should use that. Like I said, it is a gift. You can literally see it in someone's astrology chart. I've done this a million times for different like people who are sex symbols and stuff, and they always have certain aspects that I look out for. So you definitely can, you know, see that as like a quality someone carries with them their whole life, is that they have a sexual magnetism. And some people have it and some people don't. And a lot of times, you know, that's why like in Hollywood and stuff, they call it the it factor or je ne sais quoi. And that's like, I think, a code word for this spiritual quality of like star power and, you know, kind of star energy is what I call it. And I feel like this pile really has that. So it's like, you gotta a little bit be bold in this pile. Some of you guys are holding yourselves back, or you're like, that's lame. But anyway, I just really want you guys to get this message that you should try it, but definitely glamorous field. So I'm seeing fashion. I'm seeing someone being like a fashion designer or putting together magazines or working in PR. And it's a very glamorous type of profession where there's lots of parties, lots of social engagements, lots of like business lunches and glamorous spots, lots of going to the office in like a cute outfit, you know, so maybe even working in cosmetics or something like that. I'm also seeing someone doing art of some kind in the public sphere, so like acting or music, or maybe even art, because the art world can be very glamorous. So maybe like painting or putting together art like that, maybe like being a gallery owner or working at a gallery, maybe even something like real estate, like, you know, because like, what is that show in LA, Selling Sunset, where it's very glam, but they're kind of meeting clients and they, you know, they're talking to people and there's a social aspect to it. Because again, I'm getting high-end glamour, maybe even a high-end sales from this. You know, something where you, again, you're talking to people, you're using your magnetism, maybe you're flirting with clients a little bit, but there is this glamorous aspect to it and this socialization aspect that's coming through really strong. Even something like party planning or owning a bar or owning a restaurant and kind of going around and socializing and chatting with customers, or being even like a bartender or a DJ or something where you're very involved in that socialization and even the nightlife. Like I feel like something like that, a nightlife impresario or a promoter or someone that, you know, just socializes for work, would be something that would be incredible for you guys, and all kinds of influencers as well. So someone who is a travel influencer or a, what is it? Like, I keep want to say bodybuilding, but that's not it. A fitness influencer or any kind of influencer, a model, any kind of model, you know? So I feel like you guys just have, again, this magnetism, this vibrancy, this beautiful glamour that people are drawn to. So definitely use that, you guys. This is such a gift that so many people would love to have. Let me get some astrology dice. Can we find out the astrology aspects for pile three's career? So we got the nodes, okay. We got third house, communication, and we got Capricorn. Capricorn has been coming in hot for, I think, all the readings today, which makes perfect sense because it is a career reading. So anyway, and that's 10th house career anyway. So like I said, Capricorn relates to the 10th house. It also relates to Saturn. And what's coming to mind for me with you guys is that the 10th house midheaven also has to do with honors and achievements and people's perception of you and large like groups perception of you and people kind of watching you and seeing you get honored. So again, I feel like this pile, some of you guys need to step into the spotlight or be unafraid of being in the spotlight. Some of you guys are holding yourselves back from this or not wanting to, you know, be seen. You might not be like, oh, it's so cringe to like start at XYZ. Like, I don't want to be on TikTok, but I feel like you guys are just gifted in this. And it would be amazing if you guys put yourselves out there in this way and a massive success because, again, this public platform thing is a big theme for you guys. Third house, that is ruled by Gemini, it relates to Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So communication, you guys are great speakers. You might have some kind of a YouTube where you're speaking to people for a long time, or where you guys are making long Instagram posts where you talk about a lot of intense stuff, or where you're just in fields where there's a lot of communication. Again, publishing coming through. So I know there's a lot of glamour around publishing and even like being an author, but talking about those kind of there's some authors that are very glamorous, like Danielle Steele or someone who just has kind of a vibe, an elegance to them. Like whenever you see their author photo, they're all dressed up, glammed out. I love that. And you might even be talking about glamorous industries or glamorous scenes. Like, you're writing a book, but it's set in like 1800s Regency England and balls and like stuff like that. Or you're writing a book and it's about, life in Monaco nowadays, or just like high end, high roller, exciting. Like excitement is something that's a big theme. I'm seeing the movie Romancing the Stone. So maybe romance novels or novels that have that aspect of glamour and that element of high end excitement. So I know like sometimes, murder mysteries or like, action things, but they're set like in a James Bond type world, not like just an action of like, there's a small town sheriff and he's running around the trailer park, but like something that is very high end Hollywood and, luxury type vibe. Then we have nodes. So again, this node has been coming out a lot, which again makes perfect sense because that is destiny. So again, with this message that some of you guys have a really powerful destiny connected with this. And I always think that, if someone feels called to be in the spotlight, I think sometimes there's a lot of negativity around that in media. And I'm actually surprised by how many people I talk to in readings that I'm like, you would be really good at this. And they'll be like, oh, I would never want to post something like that. Or I would never want to like put myself out there like that. But if you feel called to that and that's your gift, then the whole world benefits from you sharing your gift with the world, right? Whatever that gift may be, because it doesn't have to be, you talking about like philosophy or you, teaching people how to do math. It can be, you inspiring people to work out a little bit more, or you inspiring people to put on some makeup in a beautiful way that makes them feel good. There's so many different ways to inspire people. And I feel like there's something invigorating, inspiring about you, and you're good with dealing with people. People like you. And I do feel like a lot of you guys are going to manifest a lot of abundance. Again, with this glamour energy, this abundant energy, feast of plenty. So I really feel like a lot of you guys, whatever you're going to be doing, it should be high end. There should be that element of glamour and also of appearances. So like, again, fashion or something like that. You might be living or might want to live in like a very high end city or traveling a lot for work, taking beautiful photos. This aspect of beauty, I think it's so important. I think honestly, the world used to be like, I feel like not everywhere I guess, but I love when we go to like old cities and they're so beautiful and they put so much work into like old buildings in so many different places in the world. Like the most beautiful buildings you'll see are all like hundreds of years old, and all the new buildings are so ugly and gross and they look like they're gonna fall down in like 10 years, start cracking because they're all made of the same cheap materials. But you look at an old building made in like the 1800s and it's freaking gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's ornate because they understood the power of beauty. So if you are a beautiful person, understand that sharing that with the world is a gift. Or if you are very good at glamour, at putting together beautiful outfits, that's also a gift. That's also something that is just making the world a better place and improving things for everyone. So don't feel like you can't, like there's something wrong with that or there's something bad. And yeah, you guys might get a lot of judgment. You guys might get people that look down on this or say things like, oh, that's not a career, or you're not a real, like, worker, like you're just lazy or something like that. And honestly, I feel like that's just jealousy because they wish they could be making this kind of money in this kind of field and profession that you guys are in. So again, with this energy of you guys knowing your gift and not being afraid of it, not shying away from it because of the judgment of others, you guys have a beautiful purpose. And I feel like if you have been feeling called to be some kind of an influencer or in the public spotlight in some way, maybe even doing makeup or anything, again, with appearances, with, looks, using that aspect of yourself, using glamour, even like magazines, publishing, writing, anything like that, you guys, I think, would be exceptional at it and people will be drawn to you. So don't let the naysayers take you down. Don't let the people that would say like, oh, there's no chance, maybe no chance for them, but they're not you. You have your own special gifts and your own special fate from God and from spirit. So it really doesn't matter what they think. And I feel like you guys, some of you guys really need to hear that message because I think you guys will excel in these fields no matter how steep the competition is. So I really hope that resonated. Pile of 3. I loved this energy and I know you guys have such an incredible mission in front of you guys. Let me know if it did in the comments or if these are fields you guys have been thinking about getting into. I definitely want to hear from you guys, and make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up as well if you liked it and it resonated. Also, make sure to check out my Patreon. I have the link in my bio, and the last reading I posted was about what would happen if you reached out and contacted them. So it's a perfect reading to do if you guys have an ex or a twin flame that you haven't heard from for in a while, and maybe you have thought about sending that text or something like that, or you just want to know, you're just curious what they would say. So that one is up over on my Patreon, as well as all my additional readings over there. I have a ton of them, so definitely check that out. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed over here too. Have notifications on so you can find out as soon as I post, because I am always over here posting readings. So make sure you're subscribed. And I think that's about it. I am sending you guys so much love and light, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves and feel awesome today. And I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, pile 4. So if you guys picked this amethyst crystal, this is going to be your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got the King of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, 4 of Cups, 3 of Wands, 7 of Cups, 5 of Swords, Strength, and finally the Queen of Cups. So major cup energy coming through, and what I'm getting intuitively off the bat is that you guys would be really good in a kind of elevated position where you're managing people, because with the King of Cups and all these cards combined, I just feel like you guys are really good at kind of looking over situations and different personalities and kind of moderating that. So dealing with the difficult people, maybe even shady people with the 5 of Swords, I feel like you guys tend to be able to handle conflict or see through personality differences. So any kind of position where you're dealing with that, like a therapist could be really great, or a mediator, or even like a lawyer who's kind of working with, trying to have it be less fighting and more like both sides working together, or any kind of position that's elevated at a company, like a manager or CEO or something where you're handling basically multiple people with multiple perspectives. They're coming to you with different issues and you're kind of in charge. I see you guys having an elevated position with the 6 of Pentacles. So there's some level of a hierarchy here. And honestly, I'm getting you guys being at the top of this. I just feel like one of your major strengths in this pile is management of people, dealing with people. We have so many Cups cards coming out, and Cups cards are fantastic at dealing with emotions, at, keeping their emotions under control. And I almost feel like you guys have a natural sense of balance and wisdom coming through. You're very in control of yourself in that way. So if someone comes to you and they're sobbing about like the rough day they've had, or they're mad at another coworker for something, almost like HR. That would be another good position for you guys. You guys would be great at being able to talk them through that, or, bringing the other person in and kind of letting them talk it out and making sure each side stays calm. I just feel like management of people is a major strength you guys have, and you're very good at staying kind of down to earth and not being affected by these emotional storms. So honestly, with this kind of a vibe, I feel like the sky is the limit in terms of different careers. I think you guys are a great studier of people. I could almost also see a writer or someone who is a psychologist or someone who really looks at people and understands people, because I think you guys are a master at understanding people. And honestly, I'm getting deep thinker vibes that you guys have a lot of wisdom. So you might be someone that honestly could be like a good professor or a good teacher or a good coach, that kind of a thing. But the strength here is really in how you talk to people and how you motivate people and how you deal with shady people or conflict. I feel like you guys are good at seeing through, like if someone is lying to you, you guys can tell. You could also maybe be a private detective or something like that, or a private investigator, but you're very good at looking at complex situations and kind of summing up and reading the people involved and how to deal with them. I feel like this is a major strength, and one of the things is that I feel like you guys stay very calm about it. You don't get swept away. I feel like there's a kind of masculine component to this pile, and by that I mean like the King of Cups, who's very steady and authoritative. You know what I mean? So even though it's a Queen of Cups, she's great at understanding emotions as well, of course. But there's this natural authority you guys have. And I think it's coming through with the strength card as well. That makes you a really good planner. Three of Wands is coming up with that. So you guys are good at looking at a situation that may be really complex to someone or maybe really difficult. Like I'm seeing a tangled rope and someone untangling it and just knowing exactly where to pull where. So I could see you guys almost being one of those paid consultants as well, who comes into a company and like decides how to restructure it or who to fire. I feel like you guys, again, you're very wise. You have a lot of this deep knowledge of people and understanding situations. Let me get some more career cards from the career deck. So we got freedom. You're on the right path. Oracle cards, crystals, school, sensitivity, and children. So again, with this teacher or coach vibe, I feel like you guys would be really good at dealing with children. Even if someone in this pile wanted to become a stay-at-home mom, I feel like you guys would be excellent at that. You guys would be excellent, or a stay-at-home dad, I guess, or just, someone who is very close to their kids. I feel like you guys would make an excellent parent, but definitely it could be a teacher at school. I'm hearing preschool teacher, or I feel like any level of teaching. You guys are great at taking people's issues and just sorting them out and knowing what to do. And I feel like with your skill set, it could work in a variety of different careers. And you guys kind of would be able to take your pick of like, I don't want to work for this kind of a company, or I want to do this. With freedom coming out, I feel like it's saying that you kind of have the gravitas and the level of desirability to an employer that makes you able to really work wherever you want, and you get to decide. It's not like you're hoping that some company will take you in and like, I don't really think I'm qualified. It's like, you add value to these companies and they know you add value too. Like, I feel like you're that person that within a couple weeks of working at a company, everyone kind of knows you and talks to you and respects you and looks up to you and might come to you with their problems or asking for help. And partially this may be some spiritual, intuitive knowledge that you guys are using with oracle cards coming out, crystals, and sensitivity. And that also corresponds to all those cup cards we got, is there's a high level of psychic ability. So you're a really master at dealing, I just keep getting this, dealing with people, talking to people. And that's the kind of skill that I really think can work anywhere. It's almost like you have a high EQ, emotional IQ. And I think that they have shown in studies that that's highly related to success and financial abundance. So it's like you're a people person. You know what I mean? Even something like sales, I feel like you guys might be able to do, but I also feel like there's a calmness around you where you might not want to have to do that high energy type of sales where you're coming in and being like, yeah, so we have this today and blah, blah, blah. You guys feel a little bit more chilled, like you're a little bit more relaxed and very disciplined. And like I said, this natural authority, like you don't really need to prove yourself to people. I feel like people naturally kind of come to you, and you're not the type to get super agitated. You actually generally stay very balanced, is what I'm getting. So I think, yeah, you might be someone that gets brought into kind of high conflict situations, maybe even like something like a social worker or a judge, someone who's looking over really complex matters and kind of sorting them out. But it could also work in business, you know. I know that sometimes when a business is going through like high staff turnover, or there's a lot of infighting within the company, they might bring in an outside kind of mediator to look at the situation and to kind of parse out, like, is there a problem person here, or is this just two people that are disagreeing, or what's going on? And I feel like you guys would be really good at that and could make a lot of money in that way. I see you guys as being someone that like almost companies would call in and be like, let me get this person's advice and let me get their wisdom. But if you guys wanted to do psychic work with this, I also feel like that's an option, because I am getting that you guys are highly psychic, and we see, you know, crystals, oracle card sensitivity. So I think that you kind of are a reader of energy, and that's what you're really doing in these roles, even though obviously being a mediator is not like a psychic job apparently. But really, I think a lot of it does involve those psychic impressions of people and reading someone and knowing how to talk to them intuitively. I could almost see, this is weird, but like hostage negotiator or like police officer talking to someone who's, you know, going through a lot. But you guys could use this quality of yours of being really good with people in so many different applications. I could also see entrepreneur with freedom coming out, or a job where you know, get these downloads and maybe you don't apply it to sorting things out, but you're maybe, you know, you're maybe talking to customers and kind of soothing them, or maybe you are doing some kind of a YouTube video where you're talking to people. I just think you're really good at speaking. You might have a really well aspected Mercury or something like that. And you're also good at relating to others, understanding others, having empathy, and psychology, I think, in general. So let me get some additional cards for pile 4. So we got the Eyes of Beauty, the Eagle King, the Big Picture Angelic Help, the Hawk Prince, Spirit Communications, Paying Attention, Queen of the Light, Illumination, Enlightenment, Celebration, the Dragon's Duel, Inner Conflict, Morality, Conscious Choice, the Well Watcher, Wisdom, Power of the Divine. So again, there's some conflict energy coming through that really sticks out to me with the Dragon's Duel. I feel like you guys are just really good at handling conflict. Maybe this has been a theme of you. Like maybe you had parents that would argue all the time and you would come in and sort it out. And sometimes, as unfortunate as obviously, you know, those kinds of childhood experiences can be, they can also point you to where your divine gifts are. Like maybe you were born into that family for that purpose, because I feel like you guys are just good at calming people down, at kind of seeing the pathway through to like, okay, we don't really need to be fighting about this. Here's a way to compromise and everyone can be happy, kind of a thing. Or even, like I said, a writer, because I think you guys are a studier of people. I think you guys have a really good grasp on psychology. You guys might in this channel look up psychology documentaries, or read psychology articles, or watch like long form videos on YouTube that kind of break down psychology or body language or something. I just think you guys are really good at dealing with people. And partially, this is a divine download you guys are getting from spirit with so many of these spiritual cards. I could see you guys having spiritual work that you've done in another lifetime, but I feel like in this lifetime, you're applying it in a very authoritative way. You're not just like some medicine man. Nothing against that, obviously was very revered back in the day, but sometimes someone who does this kind of work gets kind of shuffled to the background, and it's the real leader who gets all the attention. So if you're like, you know, the herbalist to the king, they don't get to like no one knows about you outside of that realm, you know. Or if there's like a tribal leader and you're doing a lot of the magical work for them, you know, they still are going to get all the attention and all the kind of clout. And for you guys, I see in this lifetime, you're supposed to be more center stage or authoritative. So I could definitely see people in this pile working for themselves, owning their own business, or being called to rise up within a company and take the reins a little bit more. I do feel that in this pile, you guys are supposed to have some kind of an elevated position where you're calling the shots a little bit more. I feel like some of you guys in this pile, you didn't do that in past lifetimes. You kind of were like the helpmate to someone else who was more powerful and more authoritative. And you were more the one in the background that would kind of look out for them and give them advice, but not the one taking center stage. And I see that you guys are going to be called in this lifetime to take more of a center stage position where you're vocally, you know, giving your perspective, or where you are the head of the company. I love that you guys got, for your pick a card, you got the Lady of Lightning, surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift. So there's so much power and authority here when you think of lightning. You know, there's so much strength within that, and you guys got the strength card. So I feel like you guys might in this pile have spent many lifetimes kind of sitting in the background a little bit, and letting some, you know, kind of like how, you know, there'll be a celebrity and they always look amazing on the red carpet or something, and eventually maybe they finally post a photo of their glam squad and you're like, oh, this dude has been behind it the whole time, or like he's her stylist, and oh, I love everyone he dresses, so this is his style. It's not her style, it's his style. You know what I mean? I feel like you guys have been kind of behind the scenes for many lifetimes. And now this is about you guys stepping into center stage and stepping into your authority, stepping up to that. So if you feel called to open a business or to start a company, I think that's a really good idea. Or even start a YouTube channel. I feel like in this lifetime, what I'm hearing is it's not going to work anymore. So staying in the background and hiding yourself away and not wanting to like ruffle feathers or rock the boat by putting yourself out there, it's not going to work anymore. I think you guys in this lifetime are destined, and you're supposed to step into your authority of like, no, this is what I think. And actually, yeah, I am the one who calls the shots, and I am the one who thinks this, and this is my authority. So I could see any position where you're able to really give that kind of advice and counsel to people and make those big decisions for them. So even like I said, a therapist, a life coach, a planner, life planner type person, or a company consultant that would really come in and see like, we need to divide this division into this, and we need to take these assets and put this here. Like, I just feel like you're so good at seeing this big picture kind of a thing. And we got the Eagle King, angelic help, but it says the big picture. And I feel like, you know, another thing about an eagle is it flies up ahead, right? It's up above. So when we're down on like earth and we're like close to the ground, we can't see things as clearly. When we have that eagle-eyed perspective of looking at things from a really high view, we can see it a lot better. Like when you go up in an airplane and you're like, oh, I didn't know my neighborhood was shaped like that, or I didn't know that there's a little river running right by my house. Like I didn't know because I had no idea. So once we elevate ourselves and we see from a higher plane, we can see things better. And I think you guys naturally tend to do that. I think you guys have a good way of just probably synthesizing a lot of information. Like someone will tell you some long, complicated spiel, and you're really good at summing it up and just being like, oh, okay, so you're saying that XYZ is XYZ. Okay, perfect. Like you're really good at taking knowledge and just processing it quick and processing it really well, highly intelligent. I could also see this pile doing something in science or math, or with a lot of like deep knowledge, like a researcher or professor that studies really intense things. There's just a lot of knowledge coming through, a lot of deep awareness, and like being almost methodical. Like I feel like you guys would dive into a subject and just dive down deep and like learn every aspect of it. So yeah, let's get more cards. Let's get some from the Fairy Oracle. So we got hope, tree wisdom, celebration, come together, wisdom, more wisdom, shine from within, and precious time. So a lot of wisdom energy. These came out on top of each other. So I love that. And so you guys, again, with the wisdom, with the knowledge, with just being highly intelligent, I see that as being a major theme for this pile. I could see this pile being my kind of people that are becoming lawyers or doctors or surgeons, or having a very specialized field of knowledge, and just really really, really, really learning a subject in and out so that you are like the expert. So no one can stump you. No one can be like, what, but you haven't heard of this? And you're like, what is that? Oh, I don't know. Like you, I feel like are that person that will learn everything about your field and just excel in it. And I think it's like, this is a huge gift, and spirit is saying, step into that and step into your authority, and don't shy away from like, oh yeah, I kind of know that subject, or just downplaying your knowledge. I think maybe that's something you guys have had to do in this lifetime to make other people feel comfortable around you, to make other people feel okay with you. But I feel like spirit is really saying that you guys are supposed to shine in this lifetime. And, the stuff you guys are bringing to others, this wisdom, this knowledge that you guys have accumulated, is so incredibly valuable, and people are going to be so grateful for it. So definitely don't discount that. You guys definitely need to follow that to the end. And I do think that a lot of you guys, again, with this kind of calm vibe you guys give off, and this kind of like unflappable, unruffleable, like it's hard to ruffle your feathers, it's hard to get you guys really upset. That is a incredibly important quality that I think really helps people around you. And with Come Together, again, you're a great moderator of people. And almost like in a way, it's because of this knowledge you guys accumulate, because I think people feel safe around you. They feel safe in your hands. If you've ever like gotten advice from someone or paid to see like a specialist at something, and then halfway through it, you're like, I don't think this person knows what they're talking about. It's the worst feeling. Like you feel so scared because you're like, oh my God, wait a minute. Ooh, what did I sign up with? And can I back out, or can I get out of this? Because, oh no, this is not for me. And I feel like, it causes stress to those people. And with you, they just know like, oh, I can trust you. I'm almost getting for some of you guys plastic surgeon. I just saw that, and we did get the eyes of beauty, positive expectations, clarity. I feel like some of you guys would be good at that. I just feel like you guys are specialists in your field. You're very knowledgeable. You're very good at getting this depth of information out of things, and then mastering a certain field and then applying it. So like there's many ways you could be applying this. So like I said, like it could be a plastic surgeon, it could be you knowing about like a certain branch of psychology, or the history of like different kinds of mushrooms or something like that. But just, or like medieval, England, and knowing everything about it. I just think you guys have a real gift for knowing different fields, for being really smart, for synthesizing knowledge. And I think that spirit is saying, hey, let's step into the spotlight and not hide this away like you have in other lifetimes. So let's get more cards. Deep diver, diving into a task. Crown games, right use of power. Caterpillar, opportunity. Me talks, repairing the body, mind, spirit. Repairing the veil, forgiveness. Lost compass, getting back to integrity. Benefactor, grace and generosity. And eyes of the eagle, rising above the fray. So what I was talking about with that is you guys have a lot of eagle energy, because that's why I was mentioning it earlier, is you got another eagle card. So you see things from a higher kind of plane, which I see with a lot of more spiritually kind of evolved type people, to be honest. So with crown games, again, it's bringing to mind that Five of Swords we got earlier, where you guys are good at seeing when someone is up to shady stuff. You guys are good at reading energies and being like, yeah, this person's hiding something, or like, yeah, I know you said you were doing this, but that was actually passive aggressive, and like, what you said to that person was screwed up. Like, you are good at seeing through the acts people try to put on and pretend. And I think because of that, you're an excellent, excellent manager of people. You're really good at dealing with people, and you're really good at seeing through the masks that I feel like people try to put on. Again, with this energy of possibly like plastic surgery, or helping people with, cleansing themselves, or toxins, or like repairing their maybe body in some way, or I feel like you guys would be good at body work, either spiritual or just, traditional Western medicine, but you would be good at fixing and healing people in that way and repairing themselves. I feel like, again, with Deep Diver, there's this vibe that you guys love information and are great at getting down deep into the information and mastering that field. So you can kind of choose how you want to apply it. If you want to apply it to psychology, you could. If you want to apply it to math, you could. I do feel like a lot of you guys are going to make a lot of money from this. And with benefactor, you might become that benefactor to people, but it's almost like having you at their job feels like you're a benefactor because you guys are so you know, they feel like they're in good hands with you. Like, you know how if you've ever had a boss that doesn't get at all what's going on, and like there's someone shady in the office or there's crazy stuff going on and the boss just doesn't get it and like thinks that maybe the disruptive person is really nice to them and really like sucks up to them. Usually that's how they play these things, is like they're Machiavellian and they try to, you know, cover all their bases, and they're horrible to certain people, but they suck up to those in power. So, you know, that's always a horrible situation when you're at work and you're like, this person sucks, but I know I can't go to my boss about them. And I feel like you guys would be, it's almost like people feel safe around you because you would see through that. You'd be like, well, I know you just brought me lunch for free, but you know, I have to be honest, your coworker was complaining that you sabotaged their project. So I appreciate the lunch, but we needed to talk. You know, you wouldn't fall prey to this as much as other people. You're very good at seeing through this. So it's like you have all different kinds of opportunities to use these gifts. A lot of different fields come to mind. I feel like if you guys want to focus on this information or this high intelligence that you guys have, you could definitely use it in a field that requires like a advanced degree or something, a lot of knowledge, like being a lawyer or being a surgeon, or because I think there's something very precise about you guys. Being, you know, a psychologist or a psychiatrist or something like that. If you guys wanted to not have to go through that type of, you know, qualification process, you might become a therapist or a counselor, or you might work in the corporate field, coming into companies and kind of counseling them on like, well, let's figure out what's going wrong in this office and why so many people are quitting, or let's figure out why there's so much staff turnover, and let's get down to this, because you're very good at overlooking a situation and really seeing through it. So also, if you just were like, I don't want to deal with people like on this level, but you have all these gifts, you could work as an entrepreneur. Because I think just being an entrepreneur basically uses so many different gifts that like it would be great for you, because you guys have a lot of them in different areas and you're good at talking to people, so you'd be great at that customer service aspect. I could see something like customer service. Again, I'm not getting the vibe of high energy that I feel like we need when it comes to like sales, where you have to be very outgoing and like constantly talking and constantly being like, hi, I have this, it just came in. I don't think you guys like that as much, but you would be good at like the one-to-one customer service. Angry customer calls in and you're kind of like, oh, absolutely. Let me fix that for you. So you're very efficient and you do things well. And that's really rare nowadays. So I think that there's a lot of different fields you guys would be good in. A lot of companies would be really excited to have you guys. But again, I'm sensing in this lifetime, there's something about you guys stepping into more of an authoritative role. So try to find a job that will allow you to do that. And maybe even, you know, putting yourself out there online or something like that. Because again, I feel like you guys have a depth of knowledge and a lot of knowledge about different things, especially psychology, that I think a lot of people would love to like read your opinions on things and just hear what you have to say about different subjects. So let's get some astro dice for pile 4 to see what astrological elements are at play. So we got 9th house, we got Aries, and we got Uranus. So, or is this is Neptune, sorry. Okay, so this is really interesting. 9th house relates to Sagittarius, it relates to Jupiter. And so with the 9th house, what's coming to mind is that you guys have, again, Jupiter relates to philosophy, it relates to ancient knowledge and wisdom, and like I said, philosophy. It also relates to school, higher education. I do feel like you guys would be good teachers. I feel like also some of the work you do, depending on how you use these gifts, might apply where you're having to get higher education to do those jobs. So something like a surgeon, a lawyer, etc. But yeah, there's a definite, like, again, a lot of wisdom and knowledge that you guys carry. Even if you never chose to like deepen this in terms of an academic level and actually get higher degrees, I feel like you guys are just very wise. Like I feel like back in the day, there was just kind of like wise men, and in different cultures or tribes all over the world, they would have often that position of just kind of like the advisor to the king or to the chief or to whoever was in charge. And I feel like you guys have probably done that for many lifetimes, and you're great at just consulting and looking at a problem and being like, here's my wisdom on it. And it's very dead on. But I almost feel like in this lifetime, they're like, no more holding yourself back. Now it's center stage. So Aries kind of relates to that because that is the first house. It's how we're seen by others. It's ruled by Mars. So you know, this is more about taking your power back and using your power of like, this is me. I'm showing myself to the world, my ascendant. That's the ascendant. So it's like how others are going to perceive you and see you. And it's like not holding yourself back in the shadows of, I'm just going to be an advisor to this one person, but I'm just kind of hanging back and I'm not center stage. No, they want you really putting yourself out there this lifetime. Also, Aries is ruled by Mars, so that relates to conflict. And like I said, you guys are masters at dealing with conflict and understanding a situation. You might even be great generals or something, handling war and stuff like that. I feel like you guys just, again, this slow and steady, very balanced energy you have. You might have an exalted Mars or something in your chart. So Mars in Capricorn, or just very well aspected Mars, Mars conjunct Saturn or something like that. I just feel like, or Mars trine Saturn, sextile Saturn. I just feel like you guys are really good at handling conflict and being very controlled about it. Like you're not someone to get swept away. Like, I can't believe you said that. This is crazy. Like that would never be you. You would be that person that's very calm, very balanced. Someone comes to you with some crazy energy and you're like, okay, well, I see this about it. Like you're very good at seeing through other people's emotions, other people's crazy emotional reactions. You tend not to get swept away by that. And I think that's a huge advantage, especially nowadays, because the world seems to be getting crazier and crazier and people are very emotionally reactive. So I think that yeah, this is a major talent of yours. And then finally we have Neptune, which makes sense because I really am getting that a lot of you guys get spiritual psychic downloads and have for lifetimes. You do have a spiritual component to your chart. So some of you guys might be able to do some kind of spiritual work as well, like a Reiki healer or kind of having therapy, but with a spiritual component to it, spiritual advisors, maybe even tarot or psychic readings or mediumship. But I really feel like you guys would be great kind of spiritual consultants, if that is a job, where someone might present you with like a bunch of problems. Like, I'm so upset because this is happening in my life. And you psychically get downloads of like, they should try this. They should move here. So yeah, I think you guys have so many gifts in this pile. There's a lot of really exciting ways for you guys to use them. And it's really at your own discretion of how you want to do it. But I could really see this pile being very financially successful because I think we need more people who have this depth of knowledge and who have this ability to, like I just keep saying, synthesize information, but that's what I just keep hearing in my mind is that you guys are masters at reading situations, summing it up, which I believe is a huge marker of intelligence, is if someone can take complicated knowledge and just kind of drum it down into a couple sentences. Like that is actually one of the major markers from what I've heard of intelligence. Sometimes we can think the person who's just going on for like, 5 paragraphs with a really large vocabulary is the intelligent one, but actually it's the person that can sum it up in like 3 sentences and very commonplace language. That's the one that oftentimes has the most intelligence on like IQ scores and stuff, because they're able to take that information and just break it down and simplify it. And that's something I think you guys are really good at. So there's a really high intelligence coming through this chart really strongly. And I think that you guys have done that for many lifetimes, but now let's make some money from it and let's get center stage, because I think that's what you guys are supposed to do this lifetime. So I really hope that helped. Pile 4, let me know if it resonates in the comments. I'm definitely curious about this pile. And make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up if it resonated. And if you want to check out my additional readings, you can check out my Patreon. The link for that is in my bio. And my last reading that I posted is what would happen if you reached out to them. So if you hit them up, contacted them, texted them, what would they say? So it's a really juicy, good one. So check out my Patreon. I have a lot of readings over there if you want to see more of those, but I am sending you guys lots of love and light. Make sure you're subscribed over here too and have those notifications on if you want to find out as soon as I post. But I hope you all have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves, and yeah, sending you guys extra love and light today. Okay, bye. Hey, pile five. So if you guys picked this clear crystal quartz, this is going to be your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got Temperance, Ace of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Three of Cups, Four of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, Ten of Pentacles, Four of Wands, the World, and the Two of Pentacles. So I feel like there's a strong emphasis here on you guys giving people wisdom and advice, and it may be on either manifesting or kind of alchemy or abundance. I could also see you guys giving people wisdom on how to improve their bodies, how to eat better, how to improve their lifestyle as well. So I feel like I could see a lot of spiritual leaders or influencers being in this pile, or someone that is supposed to spread this kind of alchemical knowledge with the masses in some kind of a way, or with one-on-one coaching. So I could see something like a personal trainer being in this pile, or a fitness coach, or someone who helps someone reset their diet and eat healthier, or educates the world on, the dangers of GMOs or non-organic food, stuff like that. I could also see an abundance coach being in this pile. I also feel like you guys are supposed to be a role model on how to manifest abundance. With the Four of Wands and the Three of Cups, there's a strong message that you're kind of teaching people that life is worth celebrating, and life is about enjoyment and having fun, and enjoying things in moderation a little bit. So I feel like you guys, it's not like you're too far on one side of the other. There's a very alchemical vibe here of being a model for like a good life and teaching people how to have a good life, teaching people that life doesn't have to be in one direction or the other, where you're like not ever eating anything you like, or you're overindulging to the point of, being unhealthy. I feel like there's so many cards here about balance. And honestly, with the World coming in and Ten of Pentacles, this might be working in a very luxurious field, or with very high-end clients, or just having a lot of luxury and abundance surrounding you. And it may involve international travel, or working on social media in a way that would reach people from all over the world. So I really am getting, for some of you guys, you might be a spiritual influencer of some kind, either on YouTube or on Instagram, someone that serves as a role model for how to live a good life, or how to achieve certain things in life. And I feel like, this could be someone who has a variety of different jobs. It could be that you're a successful business owner, and then you're like, I'm going to post some quotes on Instagram or something, and then it does really well. Or it could just be that you do this, with one-on-one client sessions, where you come into someone's life, kind of see what they're eating, and then make up a diet plan for them to eat healthier, more organic, and more food that will nourish their body. I feel like there's a strong health component to this pile, to be honest. So either you guys are influencing people or talking to people about health and fitness, or you're just naturally a very healthy and fit person. But in terms of this being a career reading, I feel like that's a viable career option for a lot of you guys. So I feel like there's a lot of communication involved here with the Knight of Swords, where you're speaking on how people can improve their lives and live better lives. I could also see like a motivational speaker being here, or like a spiritual influencer, either a spiritual YouTuber, spiritual Instagram person, but it's almost like you guys combine a lot of these things, and there's a strong component of being like a model to others. So you're living your life a certain way, and it inspires people of like, oh my gosh, I could wake up in the morning and do a little quick workout or something like that. So I feel like you guys are kind of in the Temperance card really talks about alchemy. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles. So I really am thinking for some people, you're inspiring them about how to make money. You're inspiring them about how to bring wealth into their life, but in a very emotionally supportive way. It's not like you're just like, here's how to make money, invest in this stock and then this 401k. Like, it's not, boring like that. It's like maybe you do have that aspect of it, but you're also talking about these spiritual things, or how to improve their life in general, how to become a happier, more fulfilled person, not just about money, but about the overall balance of living a good life, enjoying your life, taking out time for the fun things in life, fulfillment in life. So I feel like there's strong influencer vibes or role model vibes in some way. I could see an entrepreneur who has like a side Instagram page about their business or about how to run a successful business. I feel like I'm getting just strong influencer vibes in this, but it could also be like one-on-one counseling, I guess, personal trainer, that kind of a thing. So let's get more cards, career cards. So we got light and love, children, builder, justice, let go, creative expression, energy healing, and author. So I really do feel like with this card, they did not have to make this dude shirtless, holding a weight and, or I guess it's a hammer, but it looks like a weight to me, and like just really great, amazing muscles going on here. So I feel like some of you guys might be in that bodybuilding realm or just fitness, health, you know, how to kind of have the body of your dreams kind of vibe. Maybe you're a fitness model or something like that, or a model. But there's something about it where you're not just only talking about like macros and what weights to do at the gym, but you're talking about spirituality or staying inspired or getting, you know, excited about life and spiritual component to it. There's a strong energy that you guys are inspiring people for an overall glow up, not just focusing on that one component that you maybe the main focus, maybe your main focus is like being a dietitian and talking to people about, you know, how they should eat organic, which is something I feel really strongly about. But maybe you guys are also combining that with like astrological knowledge or spiritual knowledge about, you know, the spiritual components of the food we eat and how that influences our bodies, or the astrological or elemental associations that certain foods have. So I just feel like there's something about you guys where you're combining your knowledge in this field and this thing you guys have manifested and become really good at. Okay, so my camera randomly shut off. I hate when that happens, but anyway, I don't know where it left off completely, but as I was saying, you're combining something you've already manifested, so something you're good at. So either you already achieved your dream body or your dream career, and then you're combining that with that spiritual knowledge of like the brass tacks of like do these kinds of weights to get this kind of a body or eat this way to be healthy, with also like this spiritual wisdom that you guys are sharing. So for a lot of you guys, I could see you guys being an author and being creatively inspired as well. We had some cup cards on, you know, the tarot, and I just feel like a lot of you guys would be very creatively gifted. So there's a very healing component to the work you guys are doing. So even if you're writing about a novel or something like that, I feel like it's like I keep hearing dream life in my head. So there's something about how you guys live that serves as a model to others. And maybe even, you know, you're an author, but you share on your Instagram of like, I'm going for this walk, or I live in this kind of a place, and people just love that. I could see you guys having a really inspirational Instagram, whatever you're doing, even if it's like just sharing in your interior design of your house. You know what I mean? I follow different interior design accounts on my Instagram. You guys can check out my Instagram link in my bio if you want to follow me. But and those inspire me to just be in like a good mood of like, oh, I love the look of this. But there's something about this stuff that you guys put out in the world that I feel like really inspires people and gives them creativity. I could see all kinds of different creative people being in this field, from photographers to painters to writers, like I said, interior designers or something like that. But again, the overall vibe is like you're spreading this love and light with the whole world, and almost like inspiring people to go for their dreams, because I feel like, you know, it's so important and valuable to see someone achieving their dreams. And a lot of times we can feel like, oh, that's not possible for me, or I could never try that. And when you see someone else do it, you're like, oh, actually, wow, maybe I could try it. So something about how you live your life or the way you live your life. And honestly, like I said, for a lot of you guys, it might just be posting photos of like a beautiful life you have. Maybe you have a beautiful family with children and you're posting, you know, yourself going on trips with them, or just living a really nice life with a beautiful house. And there's something about that people just love to check in, and it inspires them and it makes them feel good. For others of you in this pile, I could see you doing something like energy healing, so Reiki healing, or working with crystals, or having a spiritual component, because there's a strong healing vibe coming from this pile, and more in the holistic sense to me, not in the sense of just traditional Western medicine, but more along the lines of like energy healing, or working with chakras, or working with, like I said, the food someone eats and using that as a medicine. As the saying goes, let food be thy medicine. So I feel like you guys would bring that in, and you might even be involved with like social causes, social justice causes, or just different political causes that you feel like serves this purpose for you of spreading joy with the world and making the world a better place and making the world a kinder place. I feel like this is a very big kind of life mission for you guys. So let's get more cards. So we also got the Wise Woman of Wonderland, Integrity, Compromise, Gaia's Garden, Fruition, Abundance, Reaping What You Sow, the Fire Prince, Optimism, Aggression, the Metal King, Discipline, Armor, Boundaries, the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, Discernment, Clear Vision, Details, Hawk Prince, Spirit Communication, Paying Attention, and finally, Sisters of the Seasons, Cycles of Growth, Natural Law, Divine Order. So really strong abundance vibe going on here. I really feel like some of you guys in this pile inspire people or tell them directly how to manifest wealth and abundance for themselves. So it, like I said, it could come in the form that you post like your beautiful house online and people are like, oh, if she can live in a place like that, maybe I could. Or you talk about directly about how to do financial things or how to manifest financial abundance and steps you took. I feel like a lot of you guys are serving as a teacher or just a role model in this lifetime, and it does relate to your career. So you're showing people kind of the path. And it's like if you kind of figure out the secret formula and then you inspire others to do the same thing. And it's partially you guys are showing people about discipline, because I always say manifesting, it's two parts. It is that vision, creating it in our mind, figuring out what it is we want and accepting that it's ours, but it's also taking those daily steps of the hard work, the things we don't want to do, waking up and pushing through it, and I feel like you guys would teach people that. You guys would teach people how to go about this. And again, great communicators. I could see you guys writing books. I could see you guys giving speeches, being motivational speakers. I'm seeing Tony Robbins in my mind, so maybe something with that. Or just having an Instagram where you're sharing like deep posts about, I felt defeated at this job, but then I decided to change, and really inspiring people in that way. There's a heavy element of you guys sharing this spiritual knowledge and of getting spiritual downloads that you then share with the world. So I feel like, yeah, it's almost like if I can do it, you can do it kind of a thing. And you're very much inspiring people, and you might work hands-on with them or just sharing, knowledge with the collective. So we also got nature signs, purity, wish wisely, abundance, life energy, fairy spotting, and look in a book. So a lot of abundance coming through. I don't know if you guys just are having very wealthy clients, but I don't think you guys will be, in dealing with broke situations in this pile. I feel like you guys are either just going to be dealing in a very high-end realm. I can see a high-end sales in this pile, like selling Ferraris or selling really high-end luxury clothing, where like it's by appointment and stuff like that. Or I just feel like you are in kind of a more upscale bougie crowd, or you're talking to people about how to manifest wealth, or they are looking at you as a role model of like, oh my God, their house is so gorgeous and I want to have that myself. And it's like you're this trailblazer and other people kind of watch you glow up and watch you shine. And then they're like, I could do that too. You're teaching people how to manifest and wish for things. And I really do feel with Look in a Book, there's so much author energy coming through here. So a lot of you guys might have a life purpose or a career purpose to actually write a book. I feel like it's almost like there's two steps to this group where you guys might have this influencer job, or like I said, it could be one-on-one counseling, but you're teaching people this path, how to achieve their dreams, how to achieve whatever it is they want. And then there's this aspect of you guys maybe being like, okay, I did all that, and now I want to write a book, maybe a nonfiction book, or maybe a fiction book, or it could be a nonfiction book that's sharing more of your wisdom. But I almost feel like some of you guys might be like, okay, I've shared a lot with the world, and now I want to really dive into my creative instincts and really, make up a whole story in my mind and share that. There's something I really love the energy of this pile. It's almost like the people in this pile, and it's so funny because I actually pre-pulling these cards when I got luck is on your side. It just was kind of like random. I actually pulled this one from the very top and I was like, I don't know if this one resonates as much, but the more I see it, the more I'm like, wow, that was so perfect from spirit that I just felt called to do it this way this time, because I feel like you guys are almost achieving dreams that no one else thinks is possible. Like people think like, oh, you got to have a 9 to 5, and you're going to be like, oh, let me show you how to bring in money without even any of that. Let me show you how I did it. Or working in a complicated field that everyone's like, oh my God, there's so much competition. Like maybe you're posting on Instagram and everyone's like, oh, there's no growth on Instagram, but you managed to do it. You know what I mean? And it's almost like you're showing people that like everything is possible. And I keep hearing in my head this whole reading, I Want It, I Got It by Ariana Grande. You know, I think that's 7 Rings. I'm not totally sure, but it's like you guys are those people that can just make it happen. And I think that's so inspiring to people. I think that's one of like your life purposes, is because I think a lot of people run through life very afraid. You know, they're like, I need to be in my job. I need to be in my 9 to 5. I need to have my insurance paid for. I need to get that 401k and pay into Social Security or whatever, because if I don't, then I'll have nothing and this will be horrible. And you're that person that's like, hey, I'm not afraid and I'm actually pretty bold and I'm just going for it. We got fire prints, optimism, aggression, and you guys have a lot of optimism that I think helps you manifest. So it's like you're like, I'm not afraid. You can be afraid, but I'm not. And that's what helps you guys build this abundance, and then inspires others of like, I'm gonna try it too. Like if they can write a best-selling novel when there's so much competition, then maybe I can. Or if they can have a popping off Instagram when everyone else Instagram is kind of stagnating, like maybe I can. And I just think there's a lot of energy you guys bring through about teaching people the magic of life with fairy spotting, because fairies are all about the magic of life and mischief and taking the time to kind of dance around in a glen in the summer. You know, that's what the fairies are doing. They bring joy and they bring like happiness and this impish, mischievous quality. And I feel like, you know, so many people, they just get bogged down at work of like, oh, I hate my job and it's just this boring 9 to 5. And you're those people that teaches them to enjoy, to go out for drinks with your friends, and you post about it maybe on social media, or you're showing you going on vacation to these amazing places, and someone inside their cubicle who's hating their life maybe finds your account and it makes them be like, wow, if they can do that, maybe it's possible for me. And so there's something very powerful about this work you're doing. Honestly, I really feel so much power radiating from this pile. And I haven't said that for any of the other piles, but I just feel like there's something about you guys and what you're doing that it's meant to reach the masses. So maybe you guys even could have, you know, a job in entertainment, like an actor or a singer or something. But there's something about you guys, I keep hearing, beating the odds. So there's something about you guys succeeding in this crowded realm and then inspiring people of like, this is the path I took. And even if you don't lay it out, maybe you just are very physically fit or something, and it inspires people to try for it. You know, it inspires them like, I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to post a picture of this girl up as my inspiration or something. But I feel like a lot of you guys, so there's different ways to use this, but a lot of you guys might be definitely doing that one-on-one coaching or posting like your macros, your workout routine, that kind of a thing. So let me get more cards. So we got Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal, Empty Well, Time to Replenish, Winter's Dream, Gestation Period, The Root Girl, The Disowned Self, Overflow, Overwhelm, and Plenty, Sky Dancer, Surrender, Cosmic Womb, The Divine Feminine, Vanishing Mirror, Ego Sublimation, and The Fortune's Wheel, Luck and Right Timing. So this is what I mean. So funny. I literally did not plan it like that, but these bookend the reading, and this has to do with the wheel in tarot, and it's Sagittarius energy, Jupiter. So wow. I just love when tarot does that. It's so, like I said, it's just so perfect. I didn't plan that, but wow. So I feel like there is that component where everyone's going to be like, how did they do it? Or like, they're so lucky. And you're like, it's not luck. It's that I manifested it. I pushed forward. I asked my guides. I knew what I wanted. I went for it. And I made it happen in the amazing divine way. And you guys understand that. Like with Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal, you understand that some of the things in life are about enjoyment, are about feeling good. And you combine that with the hard work and bring in all the money and the abundance. And that way you have a great balance in that. And I feel like your job is to come into a lot of people who feel very empty well, very like depleted, very like stuck at their job and stuck at what they're doing, and they hate their life, and maybe they've moved away from their passion, and moving them into like, you can do whatever you want. So I do get financial, kind of financial planners or inspiring people, like a financial influencer, people that might influence someone about crypto or about just how to, improve their finances overall, or influencers that are fitness or like fashion or interior design, or more of those glamorous appearance-based things. And we have a heavy emphasis on that with Garden of Venus, that you guys look very beautiful, or you're very good within the Venus realm. So about making very beautiful spaces or creating and surrounding yourself with beauty. So it could even be garden design, interior design, just, like creating a beautiful space, a beautiful life. That's all about Venus. Or even an influencer that just shows themselves going out and socializing and having fun. That would definitely be the vibe here as well, because we got so much Venus, and also those 3 of Cups and 4 of Wands. So I feel like you make people realize that life doesn't have to be kind of working away in this cubicle. There's something very spiritual about what you're doing. Even if you guys are like, oh, well, I am just an influencer and all I do is like post about going out and I show my friends and we go out to nightclubs, and what is spiritual about this? But I feel like there's something that inspires people to push harder and go for what they want, and that they can make their dreams happen about what you guys are doing. With Winter's Dream, gestation period, and cosmic womb, the divine feminine, you might be even getting people in touch with their femininity, or even, I have to say, like their sexuality, which is interesting. I don't know, maybe like an intimacy coach, or I don't know, making yoni eggs or something like that. I don't know, maybe teaching people about sacred sexuality, or helping people to unleash that Venus energy and feel sexy, feel good, working with women. It could definitely also be like something like a doula. But I almost feel like women's sexuality, maybe even writing like romance novels that are, sexy and inspires women to feel that way. I don't know, I just feel like there's something about feminine power and sexuality and the divine feminine that you're kind of helping people unleash. So that's kind of interesting for some of you guys. But the main thing I feel like you guys are helping people to bring into their lives is this dream life, this realization that they can make whatever they want happen, that they're not limited to living in a cubicle or being in a space or a job or a life that they hate, that they can really make whatever happen, and helping them find their life purpose, or finding them transform themselves so that they feel empowered. So again, people might not think that a personal trainer is doing spiritual work, but in my opinion, they are, because they're helping someone who might feel depressed about their body, or might be like, oh, I just hate how I look, I don't feel sexy, to tap into that Venus energy of feeling sexy and beautiful and feeling so gorgeous because they look in the mirror and they love how they look, or they feel so strong, they feel so healthy that they just are like in love with themselves. They feel, when they wake up in the morning with lots of energy because they're eating right, they have this fitness component. So you might also be working with men on that as well. Or, talking about sexuality, some of you guys, you just might post really sexy, beautiful photos that, make people really attracted to you and feel good in that sense, I guess. So anyway, but I feel like you guys are bringing a lot of beauty to the world in different ways. And that's the main focus of kind of like this pile, is this Venus energy. I keep hearing dream life in my mind. It's so funny. It's just like being shouted in my ear. I'm like, okay, I get it. I've already said it, but they just keep saying dream life. So I feel like part of your career and destiny in life is to first manifest the life for yourself, and then you kind of show other people the path, and they're like, oh dang, like if they can do it, I can do it. And what I thought was impossible is possible. So I think a lot of times you guys might be bringing that out through a YouTube channel, social media like Instagram, TikTok, but you're bringing this to the masses. You're showing people the path that could make this happen, or again, one-on-one coaching. So either one of those, but that's the main thrust of what you're doing. So let's get some astro dice to figure out the astrological energies for pile 5's career. So we got 7th house, we got Oh my gosh, we got Libra, we got seventh house, aka Libra, and we got, I always forget this. Oh my gosh, Pluto, duh, okay. But anyway, so we got seventh house, and that relates to Libra. And what energy is that? If you guys don't know astrology, Venus. What I've been saying this whole reading, this is strong Venus energy. So, Venus is all about, especially in the seventh house, it's a lot about love and relationships. Um, and Venus also relates um, like I said, manifestation, wealth, abundance, and just that beautiful life that a lot of people would love to manifest. And the funny thing is, Pluto relates to sexuality. And so, with this whole vibe coming out together, Libra, seventh house, and then Pluto, which these are the same basically, it just is making me think more about sexuality or relationships, or even being like a relationship consultant or something like that, or getting people in touch with that side of themselves. Yeah, I feel like, Pluto's also transformation and endings, and the spirit of like the phoenix. So rising from the ashes, taking an ending and turning it into like a new beginning, taking what was, supposed to bring you down and turning it into a blessing. So I just feel like there's this strong aspect of people that might come to you or find you when they're at a very strong low point in their life and they're not excited about things, they're not feeling energized, they're feeling down in the dumps, and you teach them that nope, Venus energy is possible for you. You can do whatever you want. For some of you guys, you might even marry someone who just has a lot of money, and this might put you on this path or something. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, in terms of career, your career is going to just be is going to be in a very glamorous realm, or is going to be inspiring people and teaching them how to do that. With overflow, I didn't talk about that, but that's definitely a wealth abundance card. And also I feel like that card talks about just overflow in every area of life, not just finances specifically, but like, oh my God, I have a dream relationship. Oh my God, I have a dream bank account balance. I have a dream car. I have a dream apartment or house. I have a dream family. Like everything's possible, right? And so I feel like, there's a heavy relationship emphasis here. So you guys also might have a career where you work with friends, or you work with your partner, or you're with a team, or you're working one-on-one and building those relationships. But yeah, I feel like this is my influencer pile. This is my inspirational pile. There is this strong emphasis on feminine energy here, or dealing with feminine sexuality. And kind of awakening that part of people. And I think, like everything, when we have to have a healthy relationship to everything, including sexuality, to manifest, a great life, the perfect life. All the chakras are important, including the root chakra, the base chakra. So it's like sometimes spirituality wise, we can get too obsessed with the higher chakras and forget that the root chakras, base chakra, they're also important. And so we do need to make sure, our sexuality is on point, and we're feeling good, and we're in a kind of luxurious, open vibe to bring in all the good things. But yeah, I think you guys are going to be doing really powerful work. I feel like I'm almost getting like reward lifetime, or maybe you guys have a North Node that aspects Venus, or is in either the second house or the seventh house, but there's a strong emphasis on luxury, Venus energy, abundance, all the good things coming in life. And also with Libra is very easy. And I just feel like there's an easy vibe here. Like you guys aren't breaking your back at some job that you hate. You have a job that probably a lot of people hear about and they're like, oh my God, that sounds like a dream. Or like, wait, your daily schedule is what? You wake up at what time? You make how much money? And so, yeah, but that's your job, is to prove to people that what they think is off limits or they think is impossible is totally possible, and that they can make their dreams happen no matter who they are, where they're from, what they've been doing before. It is all possible. So beautiful energy here, you guys. I feel like this is my pile that's really going to manifest some huge abundance and accomplish some amazing things. So yeah, this is pretty amazing energy. I could see some of you guys even owning businesses that have to do with beauty or fashion or luxury, but it would definitely be within the luxury realm, high end, not so much, like, I mean, if you were working in beauty, it could be any price range, to be honest. So you could sell like drugstore lipstick, but it's just, again, Venus energy has to do with beauty. It also has to do with high end. So it's going to have to do with something like that, or a fashion. I could see you owning a fashion company or being a fashion designer, or like I said, interior designer. But it's either going to have to do with beauty, fashion, appearance, or it's going to be just very high end type of clients. So doing travel, but you're talking to high end, people that are booking really expensive vacations, that kind of a thing. Not like you're helping someone plan out their stay in a motel. You know what I mean? So there's a very luxury quality or Venus, appearance based, beauty based type of vibe going on in this pile. So I really hope that resonated. Please let me know if it did. Pile 5, I'm very curious about this pile. I always love hearing from you guys. So let me know in the comments, and make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up as well. And if you want to see my additional readings, you can definitely check out my Patreon. Link is in my bio for that. And the last video I posted is all about what would happen if you reached out to them. What would they say? How would they react if you sent that text? So it's definitely worth a watch if you guys have an ex, twin flame, or a separation situation. Definitely check that out, and the link for that is in my bio. And make sure you're subscribed over here as well and have those notifications on so you can find out as soon as I post. I'm sending you guys so much love and light, and I hope you all have an amazing day and take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye.